Speed.
Yo. It's Grapsody with Will, Phil, and Reg, trying to keep it real instead of what you usually get from these talking heads. It's Grapsody, we're here to fill the void. 3 black fans, different perspective, gotta fill your voice. Coming with the podcast, talking majors, indies in between. Yeah, it's all that, and we're down with Fightful, better fall back. Coming for respect, we connect like a ball bat. No need to double check, these are all facts. You're listening to us talk raps. You're listening to us talk raps. Will, Phil, and Reg. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps.
You're listening to us talk, Graps.
Yeah,
Hey,
talking bunch of talking heads. Man, I can't believe I lied on that song. It's crazy out here.
Hey, welcome to Grapsody. It's May 14th, 2022. It's Saturday. Hope you're enjoying your Saturday. As I tweeted this morning, I woke up, thought it was Friday. I jumped out of bed like a madman. I was like, why'd I oversleep? What happened to my alarms? And I was running around my room trying to like put on pants, and I was about to yell at my kids like, hey, why'd y'all sleep in on Friday? Y'all still got school today.
They're like, bro, leave me alone. I'm trying to eat my Egos.
It was like seconds away. I was about to wake them up out of bed, and my wife goes, what are you doing? And I'm like, I gotta get the kids ready for school. She's like, it's Saturday. And I'm like, it's
Grapsody Day. It's not school
like,
day.
It is. Yeah, it's like this ain't a school morning. Which is weird because it's not like my Friday wasn't a normal Friday. We did Friday shit. Like we stayed up, we watched movies, we did all that stuff that we do on Fridays. But for whatever reason, my brain I watched Rampage. Like, what am I doing here?
Right.
I knew it was.
And isn't school's pretty close to being out for your kids, right?
Yeah, we got 2 weeks from yesterday is the last day of school, and then they're done.
Do they have summer camp? Do they have summer plans?
I'm trying to keep them as busy as possible. Like my son, he wants to do this basketball camp that he wasn't old enough for last year, so he's gonna do that this year. My daughter, she's such a like academic. She like there's this program for like continuing education in the summer, and I'm like, you trying to go to summer school? And she's like,
Nerd.
yeah. I'm like, okay, if you want to. I'm like, I'm not taking you though, so you got to figure out I'm like, you got to figure out how to bike it there, but otherwise, sure.
That's what's up.
Yeah, it's we're approaching the weather though. The weather is like it's we're feeling it. It's feeling summertimey almost.
It's hot, dude. I had to change my shirt. It's hot. I can't. I hate it here already.
It's over 80 here. It's hot here. If it's hot here, then you know it's summer.
Ugh.
Yes. But hey, folks, I'm Will Washington. You heard us all. You heard Philip Lindsey over here.
In the building. Quite a week, man. It's a lot of news going on.
Holy hell. What a week. I am glad this is an eventful week because this is one of those weeks where we really didn't have to like scrounge for stuff to talk about. It's like it all just kind of fell, and like there's going to be stuff that by the time the show's over, I'm like, I forgot to talk about that because so much stuff happened.
There's going to be new stuff while we're doing the show. There's so much stuff happening.
Yeah. And there goes Righteous Reg.
It's me, your boy Media Man, in the fucking building. Your favorite rapper, your favorite writer, your favorite podcaster, Righteous Reg, 1/3 of the Grapsody boys in the building. I had a great night last night at West Coast Pro Wrestling. I'm feeling really great. So yeah, let's do this. William Washington, I want you to start off this show by talking about what you talked about on Day After Dynamite. Billy Washington, what he did with his little creator wrestler. Let us go. Let's go.
Oh my God. So Billy, and he's currently playing the game right now. He is so addicted to WWE 2K22. Remember just a few weeks ago, I was like, you know what? I don't even know if he can even play it.
Yeah, no, he didn't clean up his room. Like he wasn't ready for it.
Right. But the moment he got it, he has done nothing but play 2K22. It's all this boy does all day long. He's halfway decent at it. And I say that because like, I pick up a controller and I'm like, he's like, yeah, I want to play it. I'm like, okay. And he's like, no, I got you this time. And I'm like, okay.
Nope. Like, dude, I've been playing this game since way before you were born.
like, yeah, it's not going to happen. Like, go beat up on your sister, but you don't want none of this.
Mhm.
And he has not beaten me yet. And he's like, I
And
don't
he's just
understand.
training. He's sweating in his room like, I gotta beat him. I gotta beat him.
Like, nah, I got the mechanics of this down. Reversals, easy. But anyway, so Billy, over the years, if you haven't heard this story on Day After Dynamite, it's a story. So he's heard me over the years talk about my disdain for Hogan, enough to where this boy went and unlocked Hulk Hogan in 2K. Of course, if you haven't played 2K22, to unlock wrestlers, there's two ways to do it: buy him, or the game wants one of two things. It wants your time or your money. So you can either buy them, or with each match you play, you also gain WWE 2K money in the game. And then you can use that to buy and unlock wrestlers. So one of two things. It's either you spend your actual money or you spend your time that results in money. Either one of those things is good for WWE 2K. So he's unlocked like nearly everybody, but just recently he unlocked Hogan. And this boy has been picking every black wrestler in the book and just beating the shit out of Hogan. And it's like his favorite thing.
I've been thinking about this all week, just Billy picking.
The other
He's
day,
like, and now it's Apollo Cruz's turn.
Yeah, he was swerved the other day though, and he didn't know, because it's hard to explain to young kids who have only been watching wrestling. He's only 8 years old, right? So like at most, his wrestling memory is probably goes back like 4 or 5 years. And so it's hard to explain to him that a leg drop is a finisher. And so when Hogan hit the leg drop, when Hogan hit the leg drop on him, and I'm like saying in the background, I'm like, Billy, you're done. And he's like, nah, he just hit a leg drop, whatever. And then 1, 2, 3.
No, we can't leg drop,
He said, I got this. It's a leg drop.
Yeah, it's a leg drop. What are you talking about? And then he gets pinned 1, 2, 3, and he's like, wait. How did I get beat with a leg drop? And I was like, look, that was a finisher back in the day.
You sounded like me after WrestleMania 9. I was like, yo, what the hell happened here, dude? Like, how did Hogan win the championship? I thought this was Bret Hart's night.
Yeah.
Still mad about it, as you can see. I've never
I mean, I feel like that would make no sense to modern wrestling fans, seeing Hogan. And it was the same deal, too, where because Hogan's like oddly overpowered in the game. So of
course he is.
Yeah, makes sense.
So of course, Billy thought he was like really doing something. Like, this kid does not know Hogan, right? He don't know what's happening. So like, he starts throwing punches and Hogan starts hulking up, and I'm like,
you, Billy,
right?
You.
He's like, he's throwing punches at him, and he's like, wait, why is this happening? And he's like, why is Hogan just hulking up? And I'm like, and he didn't say hulking up. He was like, what is he doing? And I was like, yeah, he's this is what Hulk Hogan does. And I was like, he's about to beat your ass. Like, this is you don't understand. This is what goes down. And this boy asked me during Hogan's entrance, he said, wait, how can Hogan be a real American and be a racist? And I was like, because the music says I'm a real American. And I'm like,
then you like, all real Americans are racist, is what you said to me.
I said, this is where you'll learn what the real America is.
As soon as you see an American flag in here, I am a real American. Run, Billy, run. Don't stick around. Don't look back. Just run.
Nah, he was like going to town on him, and I don't know. My wife
wasn't having
like,
that shit. Hogan don't care that shit. He doesn't care.
She was like, look, he's gonna be going around school like beating little white boys' asses. You have to like temper this kid.
Straight up, like every little kid's not Hulk Hogan,
Yeah, I said, look, I understand that. I guess the way I've kind of told the story with him was, look, as far as that kid knows, Hogan turned in '96 Bash at the Beach, and it's just been a downhill since. There's never been a redemption for Hogan. It was just
that was it.
That was it. No, there's never been any redemption for him. And like, it's hard for me, right? Because I grew up a Hogan fan. I was a huge Hulk Hogan fan. I had Hulk Hogan tapes. I had the Rock and Wrestling Saturday morning stuff. So like, I was. So that was the problem for me, was that he
was forced down our throats, though.
Yeah, but I was exceptionally hurt by Hogan. Like, I love the NWO, right? I had a Hogan doll that would talk, and you squeeze it and it goes, when you're you're NWO for life, brother. And you squeeze it again and say, well, you're NWO for life, dude. And like those, like imagine, by the way, Hogan going in a voice recording session. They're like, okay, say some catchphrases, and he just says the same thing, but just replaces brother with dude.
Just one word.
Yeah.
Did you ever go to Pasta Mania? Is it
No.
I mean, I was trying to follow the theme of you being a Hogan fan.
You wish, yeah.
Like, no, I mean, like when I was a little kid, like WrestleMania, I understood WrestleMania to be the event where Hogan does
Hogan's
something.
show.
Yeah, it was a Hogan show, right? Like that was what I understood WrestleMania to be. And then right around the time I was starting to find Hogan lame, like he turns heel, and it was just like perfect for my childhood because right as I'm starting to turn 10 and starting to be more into bad guys, Hogan turns bad. Perfect timing. Loved Hogan, right? So like for me, that's why I was exceptionally hurt. Like it's not just like white guy says racist shit, right? It was like, no, the guy I grew up on with like posters and action figures and all that other shit. Like my guy was like, that's what my guy thought of me, was what I thought, right? Like I'm not an 8 foot tall basketball player.
When he was talking about Hulkamaniacs, he wasn't talking about black Hulkamaniacs.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I don't make $10 million. Like, so when I heard that, like I was exceptionally hurt. It wasn't just like a fuck Hulk Hogan kind of thing. It was like fuck Hulk Hogan. And that's where I'm at with Hogan. Like I have nothing. Like all of a sudden my whole childhood is like, you know what? I almost want to give back every vitamin I ever took and every prayer I ever said,
man.
because
Suburban Commando was always trash.
Yeah.
no, I love that movie. Are you kidding? I love Suburban Commando. I loved No Holds
Mr.
Barred.
Nanny.
Yeah, Mr. Nanny. But we'll say that like I had seen No Holds Barred plenty. I thought that Dookie line was the funniest thing when I was a kid. Yeah.
Nah, man. Always trash, man. The most amusing Hulk Hogan thing I've seen recently is whoever dug up that clip from Hogan Knows Best of him in his car running back the Jeezy. Hilarious, bro.
Yeah, and you know Hogan's doing the, because that's
the funniest thing about it every time I've watched it, because I've watched this thing like thousands of times now. He runs it back 3 times and somehow he's still off beat. I'm like, bro, how
gets more off beat as he
exactly, he gets more and more off beat the more he gets into the song, and I'm like, how are you doing this?
It's crazy. No, it's a skill. Yeah, no, ever since after WrestleMania 9, 1993, I was done. There was no turning. I didn't like this guy. After he screwed Bret Hart, beat Yokozuna, there was no turning back. I never liked him again. There was never one day where I was like, yeah, Hulk Hogan. From then on, I was like, fuck this bald nigga. I do not like him. I like nothing about him. Fuck red and yellow. Fuck that. Fuck all that. When he joined the NWO, it was a great move, perfect move. But I still was like, fuck this motherfucker. I cannot stand him.
My thing was, there's only one wrestler I loved more than Hogan growing up, and it was really because I was more of a WCW kid. And so Sting was my guy, right? Yeah. So like Starrcade 97 was the event where I'm like, nah, it's time. It's Sting's time. I'm not, because I loved Surfer Sting. I loved, like, Sting was also my guy. I had Sting trading cards. I had Sting action figures. If you can see right there, that right there is my Hall of Dead Wrestlers, by the way, because I used to collect.
That sounds wild.
What it is was I just happened to be at my parents' house, and I was going through my action figures, and I was like, wait. I got like 20 dead wrestlers here. Like, I got Mr. Perfect here.
On the dead homies.
Viper. Yeah, there's Earthquake. Like, I got a lot of them. There's Randy Savage, and I just thought, you know what? I'll make a shrine to all of these guys, and I put them on the shelf. But there's a Sting over there too, and
this is a wild transition. But like, R.I.P. to Lil Keed, he Atlanta rapper. These rappers, every week we get on this fucking show, we have to say rest in peace to a rapper. I don't know what's going on out there. It's crazy. Watch your back. Be careful. Stop living those songs for real. We just like entertainment. They could be fake. They created music so you could fake it. You don't have to really be about what you say in those lyrics. It's crazy out here, you guys.
So I have to tell my daughter that constantly, of like, there's a way to enjoy this stuff, and it's definitely not living it.
Right.
And I was like, a good example
is
you're
a storyteller. Tell stories. You don't have to tell real story. It could be fake.
Yeah. I was like, look, half the music I like, I recognize that I could be a hypocrite at times because half the music I like is about either drugs or killing folks. Fully understand that.
Yep.
But also, I was like, I've never killed nobody. And I'm straight edge. So just understand that you don't have to.
And like 95% of the fan base of hip hop ain't done nothing even close to that. So it's like that's not what it has to be about. Like you can listen to the shit, enjoy it, and love it, and you don't have to be about it.
Yeah,
man,
you don't.
Speaking of rap, pretty big album came out this week. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but Kendrick Lamar's released the album, and I have. No, it's a good album. I think the hype of it is going to, of course, do what it does on the internet. So people either thinking it's the greatest album of the year already, or people going, that wasn't that great. I mean, I'm glad that he's out putting music out again. I am also really glad that he seems like he is in a better place because it seemed like he was going through something. And it was really good to hear him go into a lot of the stuff that he has been going through. Even though it sounded very painful. But yeah, check out the Kendrick album if you have not. If you're living under a rock.
6 years is a long time, by the way.
It is.
Especially like you got to think about, like, luckily one of the things that's changed in the music industry is that music has a longer shelf life because it's all digital now. So music doesn't go away the way it used to. Where like when we were kids, when it was, if you weren't releasing music consistently, you were gone because there wasn't really a way for music to have a permanent life. Like you had to pull out the CD again to listen to this dude again. Otherwise, shit's gone. We didn't have YouTube.
And if you want to like listen, if you wanted to get a CD from like 10, 15 years ago, you couldn't just go to the store and buy it. Like the stores wouldn't have it.
The stores wouldn't carry it, right? Like if you weren't releasing consistent music, your shit was gone. And so I said that because I was talking with my brother about Kendrick's album, and we were kind of joking about how like how big of a difference 6 years made when we were kids versus now. Where like it was only 4 years between MC Hammer albums when people were talking about
Oakland Legend.
What example?
It was only 4 years when people were like, "Man, that dude fell off. He is gone." And it had only been like 4 years, right? And they're like, "Man, he's gone." You know,
he was still cooking.
Right, but it was like, he came out with Pumps and a Bump, right? And people were like, "Nah, that shit is trash," and he's gone. Like, right? But that was it. It was just 4 years, and so
the homie was bouncing his thing in the video in those little skin tight trunks. He was wilding.
Funky Headhunter was a wild era.
Yo, he went from "Can't Touch This" to that. Like that's a big change, bro. Like,
but that was just a couple of years, right? Like that song came out with 95, 96, but Too Legit to Quit was only like 92. Like that was such a quick turnaround in hindsight compared to today, where people will sit around asking for 6 years. All right, when's that next Kendrick album coming out? And they're willing to sit around for 6 years, right? And it's just a different
Frank
time.
Ocean is just like at the beach, like he don't care about nothing. Anytime they say something, he's like, "Shut up, you guys, I'm out here." So time has moved on crazy.
Yeah, it's the fact that you can go that long is still weird to me, but also like, nah. So things have a shelf. I mean, things don't have shelf life now. Now
they don't.
Yeah, songs get to live forever in the age of the internet, and that's actually kind of cool that people don't necessarily have to rush their art. They don't have to consistently put out new albums every year. They can rest on the last thing they put out, and it's still pretty good. So that said, I didn't get a chance to listen to Kendrick's new album till late last night, so I've probably got the freshest take on all of it.
Yeah, I've given it 2 listens at this point. Yeah, it's definitely the album he wanted to make, and I respect that quite a bit. It would have been very easy for him to come out 6 years later and go, "All right, this is what everybody wants to hear." And I think he not only made the album that he wanted to make, but the most poignant point I thought he made was, I'm not your savior. I think people made me into this, conscious rapping savior, and I'm not that for anybody. I'm just a guy like anybody else.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree on everything. I want to preface this by saying Kendrick Lamar is probably my favorite rapper in the entire world. West Coast represent. All of his albums are amazing. Every time he puts out a record, I'm on that shit. As an artist, I try to separate like being an artist and knowing like making music and then putting it out. How like sometimes you should like sometimes you make stuff that's just for you, and
Just for me.
you might and it you it's a fine line. Like when I hear hip hop music, I don't want a therapy session as a black man that goes through all this shit. As a black man that hears gunshots outside of my window, when I hear hip hop music, I don't want to be in some spoken word sessions. I want banging ass beats. I want some hard shit. I want some shit that like takes me somewhere else. I don't want some shit that takes me to more trauma. That's crazy. I can't. As a black man, I can't physically take it inside of my body. So hearing this album, I'm like, oh, Kendrick Lamar is spitting, he's going off. But I don't want to hear any of this shit. And when I like, I've started to think that
they're gonna get us up out of here, bro.
Yeah, no, I'm getting the fuck out of here. That's why I pressed
They are gonna get us up out of here.
I'm spoiled by Griselda. So when I hear West Side Gun, when I hear Benny, when I hear Conway, those beats are fucking hard. So every time I hear a new album, I'm like, where's that shit? When I heard Push's album, I'm like, yo, you're the number one drug dealing talking rapper in the world, but the Griselda niggas have evolved your sound into something better. So I want to hear that. So like when I hear now, I'm like all about production. So when Kendrick's album coming up, and I'm like, yo, this guy, they're snapping in the background and shit. I get it. Like there's like slave hooms and shit, and I get it. I understand. I know exactly what you guys are doing. I just do not want to hear that shit. I can't take it. I can't take black trauma. I can only take something. I can take black trauma. That's a lie because I just said the Griselda. But the production has to match it. I don't want to just hear words anymore, especially as someone who does a lot of words. There has to be like, when I was 17, this shit would have like hit hard because I was just like, it's all about words and blah, blah, but it's not, dude. It's about like the complete package. And if the complete package doesn't hit for me, it's just not going to hit for me. Kendrick is the best of all time, though. I think To Pimp a Butterfly is the like
dope album.
We're not gonna we still at this point don't know how great that album is. Like in 20 years, we're gonna be like, yo, you guys remember when Pimp a Butterfly came out? That was crazy. He did it, but this album just not for me. It's for a lot of people. I see it. They like trauma, they're stressed, they're all this, but I just can't, bro.
I mean, most rap that we listen to has trauma in it.
That's why
they've managed to make trauma catchy. So
it's production, yeah, exactly. If you can like put a snappy beat and some dope hook on it, you can sell me the trauma. But if you're just like straight up trying to sell me trauma with this is a very I can't.
This is a very dense album for sure.
Yeah, like I liked it. I will say that did I like it as much as To Pimp a Butterfly? No. Did I like it as much as Damn? No.
And that's how I felt too. I'm only judging Kendrick off of Kendrick. I'm not comparing him to any other rapper. I'm comparing him to Kendrick. So that's
right. Yeah,
really
that's all I'm listening to is I'm pretty much holding it to the Kendrick standard. But at the same time, I also very much there's a Jay-Z line that sticks with me constantly, which is if you want my old shit, buy my old albums. And boom. So like there's which is the other thing of can I also allow an artist to continue to evolve and do their thing? And I can. I still enjoyed it. I still enjoyed it a lot. Do I also recognize the controversy behind Anti-Diaries?
Ooh.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you kidding me? That was...
There's a generation of black men, black people, I'll say, I won't even say black men, that they walk this like Hotepi type, like they could be converted, like if they could be converted into some wild shit really quick, and Kendrick like walks that line heavy as fuck. It's like you know what I mean? Like he sits in the back to be like, but like some things on the album, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, mentioning Dr. Sebi and Kyrie, I'm like,
that's exactly what I'm saying. He walks that line of like, so that's what he did on Anti-Diaries.
Yeah, in that particular song,
he didn't walk the line. I'm sorry, he shouldn't have not said that. That's like,
I think
we're past that, dude.
And the worst part was like the end of the track acknowledges exactly why he probably shouldn't have. When he goes into acknowledging what happened at that concert 4 years ago. and it was because that was everybody's point, right? Was there he knew right in the song exactly what the controversy was going to be coming out of it, and although I think he didn't recognize the misgendering thing, I think that was one of the things that he didn't recognize, and this is one of those cases where it probably would have helped to like talk to a trans person, because I recognize that I've had very evolving views, and part of it was getting to know LGBTQ people over the years, and I'll add IA in there as well, because one of my best friend is asexual. Like, there's so much that I have learned over the years, and evolving my own views has taken talking to other people. And not just like evolving views in my head, because sometimes it's like, yeah, it makes sense up here, but then once I say it out loud, oh shit, that's actually offensive. So either way,
I still have times where I'm like, I'm learning, I'm still learning.
I'm still no, you can't ever stop.
Evolving world, you know. You
can't ever stop learning. That's pretty much it. Is if somebody like corrects you on something, like take it, because if it's especially somebody that you're speaking about, it does help to just listen to what anybody has to say. And as Black people especially, we can, as much as we want to be heard, I do feel that it's very important for us to listen. And
that's a bar.
Look, I mean, I feel like
the rapper now.
I feel like that is one of the themes of the album, though, is that he's still learning, he's still growing as a person.
Definitely.
And I think that's what makes the point of he's nobody's savior.
That was the most important part for me. That is like, that's everything for the album for me, for him to come out. Because people are like, when the protester happened, when all this crazy shit, like, what's Kendrick going to say? What's Kendrick doing? And he's like, I'm not here to save you, bro. I have a wife and kids. I'm trying to have a family. And I appreciate that more than anything. As the main theme of the album, for me, that is great. I love it.
Yeah. That said, and
it was not trash. I never said that. Just not for me. As always, nothing is trash to me anymore, because somebody likes that shit.
There's some stuff that's trash.
There's hella shit that's trash, but you can't really say it because somebody likes that shit. You know, it's like it's hard, man.
Hey, man, I'll go out and say it. We didn't need Kodak Black on this album. Sorry. Homie's trash.
Now, sorry. I was going to say, all of this said, I forgot, because it happens so much on wrestling Twitter that I forgot that much like Phil was saying just a few weeks ago, where every time somebody makes one of them greater than posts, it's usually Cap. I forgot how much that still exists in hip hop. And
hip hop is like, there's like 20 less than greater thans a day in hip hop.
And I've seen so many as it pertains to Kendrick in the last 24 hours, and there are always some dumb shit where somebody just wants engagement, and so they'll post a picture of Drake, and they'll be like, Drake greater than Kendrick. And
don't do it, guys. Cut it out.
Just stop it.
Cut it out. It's okay to like Drake. I know that there are a lot of Kendrick fans that hate Drake, but it's okay to like Drake, buddy.
I will say one thing. There is one place where Drake greater than Kendrick exists, and that is simply on Fucking Problems. I thought Drake had the better verse on that.
He absolutely had the best verse on that by far.
Only time.
Can't agree.
Really?
I think Kendrick washed him.
Nah. Washed?
Washed. Yeah.
Nah.
I've been in places where I've been in a place where the whole bar is rapping that song, and when Kendrick shit comes up, it's hot. I guess we're in California.
I was about to say you're in Cali, bro.
I'll take it. California, baby. West Coast fucking pro wrestling. Let me give a little shout out to West Coast Pro Wrestling. An amazing show last night. I think I want to start out by saying Will Ospreay, when you see this man with your own two eyes inside of a ring close as that, I don't know if you can name 5 people right now that are better from bell to bell at doing this shit. This guy, like, he just knows every spot to be at. When he hits a spot, it's close. he's just a perfect pro wrestler. I'll say it out loud. Will Ospreay is a perfect pro wrestler. What he does in the ring is insane. He had a match with Titus Alexander last night. Shout out to Titus Alexander, West Coast, young up and coming dude. This match was insane. I said last night on Twitter that Titus Alexander is like 2002 AJ Styles. If you like 2002 AJ Styles and the great things and the way that he works, watch Titus Alexander. Him and Will Ospreay last night had this just great match. It was right before intermission because Will Ospreay has to fly. He's fucking in demand. He has a show tonight for New Japan, so he had to leave. They tore this house down. They did all kinds of – every spot that they hit was great. There was one – Ospreay went for the Os Cutter, and Titus caught him with the drop kick, just like precision drop kick. Great match. Ospreay, they say if you win, you have to win. You don't have to win anything. Like you could get put over by losing, and that's what happened last night. Like Will Ospreay shouldn't be getting beat in this little fucking stateroom, so he got the win. But Titus got a fucking standing ovation. Everybody loved it. People online saw it, were just raving over it. Great match. Will Ospreay. I know there's controversy still. I don't know, you guys. Like, I'm trying to keep it in the ring. Like, I don't know. Whatever.
Try to keep
Will
it in the
Ospreay
ring.
is fucking amazing at his fucking craft. Also, Robert Martyr and my favorite wrestler in the world, AJ Gray, had an incredible match. Robert Martyr is just this young Blackpool Combat Club alumni trying to be in there. He's one of those guys, just gritty, wrap you up, punch you, hit you just like an old school wrestler with a new school flair. AJ Gray will beat your ass at any moment of the day. He'll slap you, he'll clothesline you, he'll punch you, he'll do anything that you. Last night he did a springboard elbow drop. It was ridiculous. But this match was great. They did a lot of incredible things. West Coast Pro, one of the best wrestling companies in the fucking world. We're coming up. All wrestlers around the world want to come through the West Coast. This little stateroom in South San Francisco. You guys get independentwrestling.tv and watch the show and watch all the shows because they have a lot of great shit there. So, yeah, I just want to say that real quick. West Coast Pro. Great show.
Hey.
And AJ Gray room, my fucking picture with Ajax, and I'm still mad about it.
Those pictures are hilarious, bro.
Those were the funniest.
Come
man,
on.
That was an instant retweet. Those were the funniest thing I have seen in a while. All right. Hey, before we jump into the topics today, I want to make sure that we give the voice to everybody else. I want to remind you all, humperchats.com. Those help out what we do here at Fightful and on Grapsody more than anything else because they take way less of a cut than YouTube does. But if you want your face and your visual and all that up on the screen, super chats as well. We love anything you can to support the show, and we love hearing from you. And we are going to hear from you right now. And
Ospreay's better than Rollins in the ring. Okay, keep going. Yeah, keep going. Don't just move on. Just keep going.
We will go with blah 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 blah. Did I get? Yep, that was enough blahs. It says, I am amazed by how bad AEW booked the Sky title and story since the TNT title has never felt less important. I really hoped the Sky face turn will last much longer. How do they fix this story?
Good.
I mean, we got a lot. We got a lot of stuff about that, and so I think it's going to be a big topic of discussion here. Because MF Doomhausen says, it's my birthday. Hey,
happy birthday, bro.
Birthday.
Happy birthday. We love birthdays.
And I love that name, by the way, MF Doomhausen. Says, my first time donating, and I want to wholeheartedly thank you three dudes. Hands down, best show on YouTube. Real talk, y'all are appreciated. Please, can I get Grapsody versus Wrestle Talk on Quizzlemania? Thanks again. Keep doing the work.
They've been ducking us,
they ducking your boys,
been ducking us for so long. Every week we come on here and say Quizzlemania. I'll be tweeting it. Every time someone brings it up, I'm like, bring your boys on. And they've been ducking us. They announced new guests. Not us. Not your boys. They're going to announce a bunch of people for StarCast. Probably not us, not your boys. When they should, they need your boys representing that.
Come on, Blompy Egg. Plumpy. I remember.
Real quick, though, going off what he said, also at the show last night, West Coast Pro, I've had a number of people come up to me and be excited to see me being like, hey, it's Righteous Red, you're this, Grapsody and all this stuff. And every time it's amazing. Thank you guys so much. Like, just for somebody, like, I wake up at 9 a.m., talk with my friends on this podcast and just have a good time. Like, it's not anything crazy. And people like really love this shit, man. They talk about us like we're some superstars, and it's awesome. The people last night were like, "Oh, I saw Will at this show, and I did this," and Phil, and it's just like so amazing, you guys. Like, thank you so much, man. It means so much.
I have really.
It doesn't get old, dude. It gets every time. I'm like, thank you, man. This is awesome.
Got another one. Lord Jackson says, "Hey, Will, you've got a direct line to Tony. There's plenty of people with direct lines to Tony. This guy is very
But that is a fact, though.
But like, I just understand that he is very on the internet. So he said, can you ask him? WTF was with that Rampage ending? That's another thing. You think this guy doesn't see all of the stuff on Twitter, like all of the responses to things? He's very, very aware of how things are perceived. Extremely aware.
Oh, man. You guys asked for moving graphics, he got it for you.
Oh,
he listens to you.
Are you kidding me? Like that quick in a week, all of a sudden we got moving graphics. And hey, I gave a shout out on Twitter. I'm gonna give a shout out one more time. Kevin Sullivan's team, who put those together, excellent. And I say that because moving graphics have been attempted for a long time. WWE perfected them, right? And of course, we see them in sports all the time. WWE had them perfected for a long time, and then kind of fell off. I thought that they had it right in the early 2000s when they introduced them in 01, and then they kind of like went overboard with them in like 2008ish, where it was like, oh, we can like do this shaky cam stuff with them and like have it like come down. It was like, nah, all you needed was to keep a still shot and have the person do their thing. Yeah, have them do their thing, and then that's it. Yeah, and they went overboard with it, and then eventually just got rid of them right around like 2010.
I remember Impact started doing them for a little bit.
And Impact looked tacky.
Yeah,
because I feel like Impact was missing a few things. Impact, one, their keying didn't look good. The frame rate was off. And then the real important thing that I feel like, so the three things that I think Kevin Sullivan's team knocked out was they had the keying looks good around all of the hair, looks great. The frame rate looks right, and the lighting between everybody matches, because it is important for the lighting to look good between everybody, so that you don't have somebody who looks like they recorded theirs in their basement and another person who recorded theirs backstage. Like it all needs to look exactly the same. And I thought that the Thunder Rosa and Deep Graphic looked good, and the main event, CM Punk and Hangman Adam Page look good. So shout out Kevin Sullivan and team. His team is great. I feel like the stuff they do looks like $1 million, and they're very good at what they do.
Every time I hear Kevin Sullivan, somebody said in the chat, I always think of the Taskmaster. I'm like, dude, when did they get to? When did Kevin Sullivan start producing videos? Like, no, it's different.
No, it's a different Kevin Sullivan. Because,
and also, it's been said a couple of times on Twitter, but as far as lighting, like Dynamite and the shows have looked so much better the last couple of weeks with the different lighting, just like so much better.
Yeah, but again, K Sullivan team, great video packages, great stuff. They were definitely a great pickup, which I think for people who don't remember the story, they were Impact's production team till AEW started, and they kind of got stolen in the night. It was like, hey, wait.
What did Tony call them the TNA the other day? The zombie.
Zombies. Yo, yeah, that was funny. That was
and he said it on Swerve City podcast too. Yeah, that was. So, by the way, watch that edition of Swerve City podcast.
Yes.
It was a good chat. But anyway, he says Scorpio returning heel to continue feuding with failed babyfaces Sammy and Ty. I don't think Sammy and Ty are babyfaces.
You guys did not like this, did you?
I think people were very confused by it. And
But that's what I said.
When we get into it, we'll get into it.
Yeah, I said more than anything else, I am confused.
Yeah.
Instead of rebuilding the TNT title's prestige, was the worst choice imaginable. I am with Reg on one thing. The thing that's going to rebuild the TNT title prestige, if you feel that it's diminished, is defenses. You have the title defended on the regular. You have banger matches. That's what the TNT title was. That's all it ever needs to be. Is title defenses with, and at least right now, the thing I am taking solace in is that I do know that there is I am very interested in Scorpio Sky versus Kazarian at the Forum. And the fact that they said the Forum, they didn't say that it was going to be in Ontario. They specifically said that they're doing it on the Dynamite at the Forum in front of that many fans.
SoCal Pro Wrestling, that is giant. That's what WrestleMania match, honestly.
Yeah, I think there's no better. I guess when people are asking like what's going on here, and like I said, I'm still confused as to the alignments of things, as to what happened here. I'll say this much: bringing some heat into a major match in Los Angeles is a good idea.
Yes.
The heat that they got, I don't know was the right idea, but I do think that if you make people care about what the match going into LA and not just saying, okay, and it would have worked had you just said, hey, here's 2 LA guys.
But I don't understand. You gotta. This guy's gonna be cheered.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so here's my thing, because I see people that are like, oh, well, he turned face and he turned heel. I don't think he ever turned face, and I think that's why people are confused. I think that he has hinted towards a face turn. He's done things that we want him to do, but he's always taken a step back. Like him coming out and still saying, all right, well, I don't need you anymore, Lambert. Like, take that belt back home, take that off, but still hanging with them. Yeah, he's putting a step forward, but still taking another step backwards. And so this week, getting mad at them during the promo session and telling them to stay backstage, which is what people wanted to hear, but then still allowing them to help later. It's just him. I think he's still struggling with wanting to leave. I think that's the whole story. And he just hasn't fully turned face yet. I mean, because people are like, oh, well, he hit Cass with the belt. That's just to set up the match for the Forum. And then I think what made it confusing, though, is Sammy jumped in the ring. And I think
that's the part I was confused by more than anything else.
The only reason I think he jumped in the ring is to set up still the mixed tag match, which they haven't done yet.
Yeah, they're still trying to do that.
And I think they're trying to set up too many matches at once with this thing.
Yeah, that's what it is.
But I do think that the story is still the same, that they're eventually going to split up. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're saving the full turn for the LA crowd so that he gets the maximum cheer.
Right. Yeah, I think that's what people are kind of confused on the whole Scorpio Sky thing. As you can see,
feels so well reasoned, by the way. I fucking
Tony
love that.
Khan really likes to give hometown. He likes to do the opposite of what Vince McMahon does. If it's hometown, he's going to give it up to as we saw this past week. MJF, they just like do whatever you want. MJF, be whatever character you want.
I mean, if you're gonna do the LA match, the biggest way to do is to do the SCU blow off match, and
Chris Daniels will be there somewhere at some point.
Yeah, and I think
I would like that. I would say if I were gonna do that match, especially because there's 3 weeks left till the LA show, so there's a little bit of time to build. I would say on the go home or even at Double or Nothing. That's when you reveal Chris Daniels, special guest referee. And then all of a sudden you've got in the middle of the ring all 3 SCU members at once for this match. Because you can't really justify giving Chris Daniels the title shot. Because I was going to say
I would have been building Chris Daniels to be a triple threat match.
Yeah, I know people keep asking for the triple threat. Yeah. And I would say that if you
Chris Daniels, the TNA connection, he's in one of the greatest, I think maybe the greatest triple threat match of all time. Like it all kind of makes sense.
Yeah, but that whole series of triple threat matches at TNA are just goat level shit. I assume we're talking about Joe, Daniels, and Styles.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Just amazing stuff.
Yeah, I just think people. I hate saying this because people don't like being patient, of course, but I do think people have to be patient with the turn because I just don't think they're done with his face turn yet because he's still with ATT, and so I think that we're gonna get the full turn later down the road. I don't think we've gotten it yet.
I think it's how you were saying. It's just like the belt shot was to set up the match. I don't think like Kaz is not a big enough thing for it to be like, oh, he's so super heel. It's just like, no, I'm setting up this next match.
I think he's just conflicted. I think that's the whole story.
Agreed.
So we got a little bit more. We got Van Twinblade.
Tell me.
He says, Ayo, GCW coming to STL, and Dan the Dad is making his GCW debut. Glory Pro is going to be streaming from South Broadway Athletic Club on YT Warhorse on YouTube. That's what he's saying. Warhorse is back for the next show, and I get answers for Mike blasting Davey with the belt last time.
Like some people don't want all that representation. They want to represent themselves. That's what Mike Outlaw is going to say.
Shout out Jennifer.
Shout out Jennifer every single time. Jennifer. The best.
With a big Humper Chat. She said, "Sorry I missed last week's support and love. Sending some extra this week. Keep supporting and loving each other. Y'all are a light in this world. Keep shining."
Thank you, Jennifer.
We appreciate you.
That's amazing.
Really appreciate it. I'm like teary a little bit. Always teary.
Dad tears can flow out at any moment.
Life of Deem says, "Happy
What's up,
Saturday,
Deem?
Grapsody crew. I can't watch live. I'm working on my first mural at school in New York. What do you guys think happened with Shida and the tournament? Also, any guesses for the Jokers on Wednesday?" I got something that I kind of want to see.
Yeah.
Like
I this week I started out with something, then somebody has said another name, and I'm like, oh, okay, that'll be cool. Maybe Claudio, maybe this person, maybe. I'm like, but the worst I've seen is Mark Henry. Why are you guys saying that? Why are you saying Mark Henry?
No.
You guys don't say that.
No, I mean honestly, I think the coolest thing to me would be Miro. I think
Miro was one that I saw and I was like, yes.
I would like to see it be Miro. I would like for him to come in and remind folks who Miro is. And
against Joe, come on, that's just fire.
That's the one I would like to see, because the go-to idea, because AEW, is that it's a debut, and it probably is. But at the same time, because there's plenty of options to debut, but also like we got some returns we got to make, because we have seen Jokers be returns. Because
the thing that fucked me up was that promo that Sanjay and Jay Lethal did, because I'm like, what did they like? How was their involvement? That kind of changes a lot of things, I think, as to who it can be.
I think they just wanted to make people mad and go, no, it's not Satnam. Like, oh, man, dashed our dreams.
But I wanted it to be.
And let's see. We got one here from RH. Says, Tony Khan needs to give a substantial renegotiated increase to MJF now. Also, let's get SRS to give raises all around to the Grapsody crew. I won't complain about that latter one.
Yeah, I mean, the last part, you might be making some points there.
Yeah,
he was kind of spitting at the end.
Yeah.
I suppose I might. Like, I know Sean's working on a story right now. But I will say but I will say that I will maybe drop a little gem here on the show today. As far as that's concerned.
We love gems.
Let's see. Van Twinblade says, when will Grapsody become Grapso D&D? You know what? I dabbled in D&D back in the day. I don't know. Maybe one day.
I never really played it.
Yeah.
Hey, and you know what? I will say one of the most
that could be a Patreon thing.
Entertaining things that can happen is is watching somebody get into it for the first time. I always love that. So who knows? Maybe down the line. And then we were asked what it was brought up about the Shida and the tournament thing. Okay. So, and because a lot of people have been saying, I've seen a bunch in the chat. What does Will think? I really want to know Will's opinion of the Shida situation. Of course, you want to know Will's opinion because, hey, look, I'm wearing a Holy Shida shirt. Because Shida's my favorite wrestler. What do I think happened here? I think it was a case of Shida not being aware of what the explanation for her absence was going to be. Because she's very proud of her work in Japan. She posts about it all the time. She's very proud of Makai. That is honestly like one of the coolest things you could watch. Like if you just want to see, like the only comparison that exists in my head is WMAC Masters. But if you want to watch kind of a worked stage martial arts
performance. Though if you're gonna watch something, because that's fun.
like a worked stage martial arts performance. So you're kind of getting the fun of pro wrestling and it being live and in front of a crowd, but also it is kind of plays out like a martial arts play. It's great, and she's very proud of that, and that's something she was so excited to get to do again, traveling back to Japan. So a lot of people are kind of mistaken in what her situation is, because people are like, is she, they think that this is kind of like a Yuka Sakazaki or Riho type thing. But the difference is that Shida lives in Jacksonville. That is, she's actually a resident of the United States. And her trips to Japan are more the extra work. That's not her primary work the way it is with Yuka Sakazaki, right? Where like we get her for a moment, but ultimately she is primarily Tokyo Joshi Pro talent. And so I think what happened here was that ultimately the quarterfinal round of the Owen Hart tournament has to end this week in order to get us to Double or Nothing. There has to be a final at Double or Nothing. Quarterfinal has to be this Wednesday in Houston. Mm-hmm. And I think there was a clear observation of, well, shit, she's not going to be here on Wednesday. And if we don't have her Wednesday, we don't have a quarterfinal. Like, there's no other time to do it. It's not going to happen before, because we got to do the semifinals in Las Vegas. And so that's where this has to happen. We don't have her. So last time we saw her, she was taken out by Serena Deeb. In the context of this show, that's our explanation. She wasn't cleared by doctors. That's it. Of course, she sees that on Twitter and is like, what do you mean I'm not clear? I literally just had 4 matches and I performed in Makai. And like, I think she instinctively just saw that tweet and was like, nope, I'm clear. And this was it. And I think it was just a miscommunication. And I think once everybody was talked to, and it was like, okay, we know you're proud of your work in Japan. So, of course, you feel slighted over the fact that it's now being said that you're hurt, but here you're clearly doing work. But at the same time, we need an explanation for why all of a sudden somebody who qualified in this tournament isn't here. And the only way we can do that is say you're not medically clear. Like, it wouldn't make any sense if we said, yeah, she qualified, but well, she's off in Japan, so she's just out of the tournament. Like, because then the question would be asked, why'd you let her go to Japan when she had a tournament to compete in? Wouldn't have made any sense either. So I think there was a case of one did what they had to do, but the other was like, but I'm actually doing stuff. And I think that the explanation that they ultimately came to, and she put out a statement this morning, was basically like, I wasn't cleared by AEW doctors. That doesn't mean I wasn't cleared by everybody else. So I'm still working, but AEW wouldn't allow me to work after I got inspected after the match with Serena Deeb. And it's like, okay, everybody's good. We're good.
Kind of like, I would go, but they won't let me go. I'm a warrior still.
This felt like just like Will said, just a scheduling conflict. And I think instead of us waiting for the explanation, because again, I know wrestling fans don't want to hear be patient, especially now in this landscape where we get so much news and we get so much information immediately from the wrestlers from everywhere that people are like, oh, well, she's saying this now. What's the problem? And, also we've got this hanging thing where is she leaving? Is she going here? No, I don't think she's leaving. No, I don't think she's upset with the company. I just think that this was probably not handled well.
On her contract. She signed in. I think she's still got a year left. Like there's.
And none of her tweets read like she was upset with the company. The only thing that I saw that people were kind of running with was the whole Japanese wrestling is nothing to them, and that could have meant, who knows? I mean, she could have been just frustrated in the moment. I don't know. But I just think people ran with this and jumped to conclusions like they always do.
Translations, she speaks 2 languages, like it could be anything.
Yeah, and I mean, it did look like a work at first, because I was like, wait a minute, especially when she first put it out and then Jade responded to it. I was like, well, why would they do that? And why would Jade respond to it if she's serious?
And hey, you know what though? If you want to do Jade versus Shida at Double or Nothing, you actually have a good setup here too. Of like, she was supposed to face one member of the baddies and she didn't get to, so now she wants the TNT title or TBS title. There's a way you can get there too.
Yeah, and that's why I was confused because it always read like a scheduling conflict to me, and then but just her tweets, I was like, okay, is Sheeta working? What's she doing? And so it seems like maybe she just either, like you said, misunderstood that she was supposed to go, yeah, I'm hurt, or try to work an angle ahead of time. I don't know. It just
either way, there's an angle you can make out of it. So
yeah.
But the fact is, I think it's just scheduling conflict. I think we're
Right.
at a point where the tournament has to move on this week. Otherwise, you're not going to get to the finals by Double or Nothing. And so this is it. There's no other time. This is what you got.
And I mean, hey, if you want to turn this into certain wrestlers don't respect Japanese wrestling in time for Forbidden Door to do a match, you could do that.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
There's options. And let's see. We also got a super chat from Matt. Says, happy Saturday, guys. Big NJPW show tonight in DC. Thoughts on StarCast running in Nashville SummerSlam weekend. Kind of knew about that a few weeks ago. And I will say that
the Ric Flair thing, that's out?
I think
I saw some people tweeting about it.
I think Meltzer put it out there. So yeah, Ric Flair is going to be teaming with FTR. Is the rumor, and that's what Ric Flair has been training for.
We saw that Jay Lethal video.
When you see
it
the
was
video,
awful. Oh my god, that's the slowest shit I've ever seen, dude. Don't do it. If Ric Flair dies in the ring, you guys, come on.
The thing that I looked at,
I will say, if there's anybody I trust to work a match around where it's basically just like, hey, you want to do a hot tag, Flair comes in, does some chops, does just sets up a figure four. Like, if there's anybody I would trust with that, it's FTR. And yeah, facing the Rock and Roll Express, who
oh my god, that's gonna be so slow.
Hey. I thought you were gonna say something else.
No,
I thought you were gonna put it over.
No way, never.
Oh my god, you're Paperboy. You're so garbage.
Exactly. I'm nervous for everybody involved, especially Ric Flair, who was on his fucking deathbed very recently.
Yeah. Look. Hey, StarCast does sound exciting. It is funny that we just talked about Nashville last week on the show, and I'm like,
Nashville
now really talking about Wale Mania.
They fucked us up. They were like, "Oh, y'all talking shit about Nashville." Here's a bunch of shit.
I wasn't talking shit. I was like, Nashville's dope. It just was like, no, we're trying to peer pressure this Phil guy into coming, man.
Look, this is how much I have been traveling this year. Right before the show, I was looking for something, and I couldn't find it, and I thought, where the hell could it be? And then I realized I never unpacked it from my last trip. It was
you be on a trip every week. So
yeah, and so I went through my. That was where it finally hit me. I was like, "Where was the last place I saw?" And I was like, "Last trip I took." And so I opened up my bag, and sure enough, that's where it was. And the fact that I haven't unpacked from my last trip is an example of how much. And of course, Double or Nothing is 2 weeks from tomorrow. So your boys are going to be in Vegas literally in 2 weeks doing this show.
It's going to be hot.
Are we doing a show in Vegas? Are we doing Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, what time aren't you like showing up like super a little early or something?
I get in at 6 a.m. or not 6 a.m. I think I get in at like, it's early. It's really early. So I can if we.
So we'll be able to do the show.
Yeah.
And when are you getting in, Phil?
I do not know yet.
What? You got a week. What are you doing?
I don't know.
I do not know.
I'm fucking driving because I'm driving to Las Vegas and then I'm driving to Los Angeles because I'm on an AEW tour, I guess, at this point.
I guess you're out here, man.
It's going to be a lot of driving, but I'm very super insanely excited about it. So.
Graham says, happy birthday, Kate, and fuck Hulk Hogan.
Happy birthday, Kate, and happy...
Hensler?
Yeah, is it Kate?
Yeah.
Oh, shout out to Kate. Happy birthday.
Happy
birthday. They ran her off fucking Twitter because they're awful, but she'll see this somewhere. She'll hear it. Shout out to Kate. And fuck Hulk Hogan. That nigga's the worst. That clip is hella funny, though. Now, I just keep thinking about it because Phil was talking about it. Just fucking, it's just on the table. Ninjas on the pole. It has to say nigga in there too. Like, come on, you guys. Like, help us out.
That's why that clip cut off, so he can get the rest of the shit off.
Yeah, I'll cut that camera. Niggas on the pole.
Tremaine says, I felt I needed to give Kendrick and Taylor space.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
that was aggressive.
we cry together is it's an experience.
Yes.
Yep. Let's see. Bill says, I'm just here for Grapsody versus BCC versus Hookhausen. I ain't trying to fuck with BCC, man.
I'll fuck all them niggas up. Y'all seen my backyard tapes?
You got that one on your own. I saw Regal slap the shit out of Jericho this week. I was like, yo, why? Right after it was over, I was like, why is he so mad at Jericho, man? Jericho really hard.
Bro, you don't remember? Jericho peed in his tea kettle, dude.
He did do that.
He
That's
did.
right.
He's never. That's beef forever.
See,
bro.
Jericho's a nasty dude.
You don't fuck with somebody's tea.
Yeah,
that's what he said at the time.
Forever, bro.
You besmirched my tea.
Mm-hmm.
No,
see, Jericho,
nasty nigga, Jericho.
Nasty.
Can we stop doing Judas though? On the real, man, I'm tired.
It's never gonna end, buddy.
I'm tired of it. I don't want it anymore.
I mean, like, even now, I feel like it works, so I can't because like
that's the worst part. Is
it's like as a baby
on the show, the little kid singing. I'm like, this is never gonna end. That little kid likes this song. This is forever.
Like, shout out to Garrett Kidney, who I hosted Day After Dynamite with this week. But I like the thing he pointed out where it fits both characters, because like Jericho as a babyface wants to hear the fans singing along. Jericho as a heel wants the royalties for them playing his music, and is like, you're gonna play my song because I get paid every time you do.
And like,
I get
I'm
paid
a bad guy, I'm a kill, and you guys are still singing my song. Like it all plays into his character.
Is Judas gonna be on the video game?
Yes.
You see, man, y'all paid for Judas, but y'all couldn't get some of that.
No. Judas. There's a story with that, but I will say this.
No.
Because there was a the I think it was Sports Games Online put out the stories yesterday about the AEW video game, and
there were I haven't seen it.
And there are some people who are angry about the stuff that came out. So like the soundtrack stuff is now public, so we can kind of talk about that now.
Right.
And that's
is it?
I mean, some details of the soundtrack stuff. Although I feel like that might have been
I didn't
too
say
much.
anything. There's a
but what the soundtrack will be missing, that stuff's out there now.
Okay.
And so the
that's pretty unfortunate.
Yeah,
it's the first time I'm hearing of this. Wait, Chris Jericho's the only song in there? That's crazy, bro.
So so the story was out that there's going to be some limitations to the game, and of course, people who so the anti-AEW crowd basically came out and were like, haha, this game's going to be trash, because they were talking about
they were going to do that anyway.
They were going to do that anyway. They've been doing it since day one. That's why they still post the early Chris Jericho Kenny stuff, even though we've seen a million things since then. But the and so I tweeted because some people were like, oh, this comes from an anti-AEW person, like, how can we trust all of this? And I was like, look, some of that stuff, I was like, I've heard most of that stuff. Sean then said the same thing of like, no, I heard the same stuff. And like, I have heard the same things about the game, but the thing about the game that I have also heard is that one, they're feeling really good about the gameplay. That as I tweeted yesterday, the word smooth has been tossed around by multiple people.
The word smooth.
As in like it plays really smooth, and like it's not clunky. It feels good. And they said they're really confident in the story mode, and that was the thing that they really wanted more than anything else, was that story mode, because it's been a long time since we've gotten a story mode with branching storylines, because pretty much for the last like 10 years, the story modes in specifically WWE games have just been, hey, let's replay real life things that already happened.
Right.
And it's just like, hey, you're just going to replay. It's just been the showcase mode.
Whoever's on the cover. Rey Mysterio, play his whole career.
Yeah, play his career and just play stuff that already happened, and that's it.
Yeah, that story in my career, it's not always what's up.
Yeah, and so the idea here was that they wanted to do something that kind of goes back to the old SmackDown games days, or like the way I tweeted this. This game was never intended to be a 2K game. They never ever intended to come up with a simulation type game. It was never said, that was never the intention. Kenny said from day one, that game exists. You want that game, go play that game. What I'm trying to do is a throwback style game to No Mercy, to the SmackDown games. That's what I'm trying to do here, and that's what I want this to be. I want this to be a game that people can pick up and play and understand in the same way that people could pick up No Mercy and just play it. And you want the simulation exists. You want TV style presentation, all that stuff, that exists.
So are you saying be patient? Is that what you're saying? I don't know, is that the theme of this episode? Like,
what I tweeted yesterday was, guys, they hired the director of No Mercy for a reason. This is what this game is supposed to be, is a throwback to that type of game. That they want a story mode that that has branching stories in the way that, hey, you don't win the Royal Rumble, you ain't going to WrestleMania. And that's it. And your story branches this way, shit can happen. As long as I don't have to do pose downs with Triple H, like, then
please no.
That was the most infuriating thing in SmackDown. Here Comes the Pain, where Hunter would come down up to you and it's like, I challenge you to a pose down, and like, why am I doing this?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do pose down.
Has a pose down in wrestling ever been good?
No, but
exactly.
that was the point of it back then, was that it sucks. But yeah, that I don't want to do pose downs with anybody. But either way, what the game is trying to be, because like the game's got original music. Like, that's a thing that we haven't heard in a wrestling game in a long time, because the last really 16 years worth of games have just been licensed tracks from various artists. Remember SmackDown vs. Raw 2007? I remember specifically had Money in the Bank. Hey, shorty, what you drink? Because that was the first game that had Money in the Bank in it. And so that was, well, whenever that hit in the menus, you knew. Point being, this game is going to have kind of that original type music that you used to hear in the old THQ games. And like,
diggity dog. You might hear that.
Like, I just want to, like, I think you're allowed to have standards for the game. Absolutely. I think every game you should. But I think it's important to recognize what the game is and what it isn't. And what it isn't is a simulation 2K type game. Let 2K do that. That exists. You want that game, go play that game. But also, Sacco. Yeah, that's it. But if you want if you're looking,
if you want to play that game, go play it. The creation is crazy now. You can make the entire AEW roster. The arenas. You can make all the shit.
Look, the Cody I downloaded in 2K22. This is fucking amazing. I can't believe how accurate this Cody is. And somebody really worked hard.
He's got adrenaline in his soul and everything.
Yeah. Like the neck tattoo, like it grows every week. Like, it's perfect. But again,
don't put no kufi on him. I'm watching y'all on Twitter. Stop it.
I'm not commenting. I'm not.
Stop it.
Phil, I'm not.
Stop it. This was funny at first, but stop it.
Phil.
Stop
it's
it.
Been like 5 days, Phil. It's still.
You run it into the ground, guys. Stop it. Please.
I still open up my Twitter and it's still happening, like, so much.
Listen,
like, guys, okay.
shout out to people that are enjoying this. Have fun, but guys, relax with this Kofi stuff, man. Come on.
You're not a fan of Cody Luther King? What?
It was hilarious at first. It was a nice little, name alliteration, but now we're getting overboard with it.
I think the origin of the joke is lost. That's the main thing for me, is that
always
like,
happens.
One, that promo was over a year ago, and so it does feel like somewhere along the way, it went from a joke about Cody's promo solving racism, despite Cody being Cody, and it's somewhere along the way it turned into a joke that I think a lot of people are still in on the original origin of the joke, but a lot of people are just running with it, just like, no, Cody's black, and I'm like, what is happening here? Like, no, you have. Do you have to stop?
Stop. Look, and I get it. Look, the crux of the joke is that Cody is about the whitest guy that you can find, and it's funny to put koofies on him and do the make him say on stuff. That's why all that stuff was funny originally. Him doing the No Limit cover as the shirt, all of that stuff was funny originally. But guys, you are kicking that dead horse, buddy boy. You are beating that boy to death. It's done. It's done. Stop it. Just stop it.
This is the reason why Jack Harlow's the number 2 fucking hip hop record in the world right now. Because
look, I get it. I am a big time instigator of, if somebody says they don't like a joke and I'm still enjoying it, I will get even more obnoxious. I am the worst with that. Let you guys in on a secret. When people started going, Rollins is kind of trash, I'm like, that's why the Rollins takes have gotten even worse, because you guys hate it. So it's like, you guys hate him, huh? No, but Rollins is dope. It's just
Rollins is great.
I just have progressively gotten
Ospreay is just better than him in the ring. I said it.
He is. He is. But Rollins has more money than him. Isn't that what he told him?
Yeah. I mean, I can't. Yeah, that's I'll take the money over the skills. Yeah, give me the money, bro. I'm fine.
All right, we got a little bit more. So of course, Cronus John, even though we talked about it, I still want to give you a shout out because you gave the super chat. So sorry, this has already been addressed. We did address it. Let's see, Mr. Purple. I'm guessing
that's Mike. That's the homie.
Okay. It says, happy Saturday, Will, Phil, and Reg. West Coast Pro was insane last night. Titus is a diamond. Go out of your way to watch shows he is booked on.
Titus Alexander, California, baby. West Coast. What's up? We out here.
Telling you. I said weeks ago, this is like one of the best times to be for indie wrestling. I haven't seen much better than today. It's such a great time. 2017 was a great year too, but I think in the same way that everything from 2017 and 2016 era is now the mainstream pro wrestling, the stuff you're seeing today,
same thing.
Yeah, you're gonna see it. Christian says Andre Chase is so underrated and the gimmick is super over. Also, one of the best call and response moves in the biz.
Shout out to the Bravado brothers, man.
Where does that guy wrestle? I don't know anything about him.
I haven't seen him.
I'm just playing.
Shout out Chris.
They had a show with all women on it, though, Phil. Like, the show this week was all women, nothing but women. All you ever see is women on the show.
This week?
I don't know. They had like 5.
Yeah, I don't know.
Shout out Chris says, first time I've been able to watch live in a bit. Just wanted to send some love. Keep up the good work. Get Dan Lambert away from Sky.
Seriously, stop calling women whores on TV.
Dude,
Lambert.
why
stop it?
What is in your soul that makes you have
why
to
do you hate women so much,
every
buddy?
single time? It's like on the show he had like legit 5 seconds. They're like, all you got is 5 seconds, Dan. What are you gonna do with it? And that's what he did with it. Bro, stop it.
We got let's see. D-Lo says, super fellas, watching y'all is bringing me joy on this day. Since I got reminded that my mom passed 2 years ago, I saw your tweet about that. Shout out to D-Lo's mom. It says, but off topic, that new Kendrick album, I would say, lyricist wise, was top notch, but ain't better than Damn to me. I think that's a general feeling about it.
Yeah, I mean, Damn has hits on it. It has.
That's what he wasn't trying to make that.
He wasn't looking to make radio records with this. There are several radio records on Damn. I mean, Duckworth still goes off, man.
Although
I felt like Kendrick was playing more to like his OD and Section 80 type work on this album.
Yeah, but
what
Section
he did
80 still has Section 80 still has records on it. Bro.
Yeah,
it still has ADHD on it. It still has rigor mortis on it.
Yeah, there's like nothing like that at all.
Although shout out to my old homie, I guess she goes by America Jones now, but she owns a radio station here in Denver, 104.7 The Drop. The People Station. It is the only black-owned station in Denver, and the whole station is about celebrating black music. And one of the things that she did yesterday, FM radio, she played Kendrick, and
awesome.
she like even if the song doesn't have radio hits, she made radio hits out of it. So that's
hard.
I respect it.
Yeah, that's dope.
So shout out America Jones. 104.7 The Drop is a dope station, and I always, whenever wrestlers are in town, I'm always like, and they're gonna do something like talk with radio stations because that's what they do. I'm always like, 104.7 The Drop. Go to 104.7. Do 104.7. You have to do it because that's it's the people's station. 104.7 The Drop. But anyway, so we got One Sweet Chris says the Grapsody theme song is the only theme I never skip nowadays. Shout out to my favorite podcast.
Hey man,
thank you. That's amazing to hear.
Daniel R says hello. It is my birthday. Well, happy birthday, Daniel.
Happy birthday! It's everybody's birthday today. It's lit. It's like just spring and shit. Like I'm loving it.
SRS said that a lot of AEW originals are going to get pay raises when their contracts are up. Could you ever see a company not WWE or AEW offer someone a boatload of money, i.e., like TNA offers Jungle Boy $4 million a year? Hell no.
That was an awful example.
So what it's going to come down to, and I think this is the thing people really miss when they say this person's assigned here and this person's assigned here, when they were like, no, don't go to AEW, WWE, go to NWA. Don't go to AEW or WWE, go to TNA or go to Impact. It is important to recognize, and it's cool if you're wrestling for the passion, wrestle where the passion is for you. Absolutely understand that. But I also recognize that companies that have TV deals are going to have the most money.
There's only two companies in the world giving up $1 million deals: AEW and WWE. Those are the only two. Nobody else has money for it. Nobody.
Those are the only companies that have TV deals. Because like Impact doesn't actually have a TV deal. Impact is owned by Anthem, who owns Access.
They're owned by the TV.
So therefore, and that was a similar deal to WCW, where WCW never had a TV deal. WCW just happened to be owned by Turner, and so they never had to make a deal for money.
Right.
WWE has a billion-dollar
TV deal.
Yeah, it has a $1 billion TV deal, right? And AEW has a multi-million-dollar TV deal. They're being paid by these networks to produce this show. And so in order to produce this show, you need talent. So it is in the interest of both companies to sign people to continue to produce this show using the money you got from the TV networks. And so you're going to get the most money out of somebody who has a TV deal.
Everybody else is independent if they're not their glorified independent wrestling. It's WWE and fucking AEW because they have TV deals. That's it. So, and you recommend them to go to Impact, it's going to be great to see those matches, but they're not going to be getting paid.
Now, the thing about those AEW, and now the thing about the TV deals is, I think there's all this talk right now about, is AEW going to get a TV rights increase? And like people in the know keep saying yes. Yeah. But then people like not are like, well, why would they when blah, 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 blah. I don't think people realize WWE and WWE TV deals aren't that much. Like, I know when you hear $2 billion, you're like, in the grand scheme of things, that sounds like a shit ton of money, because it is. But that's $2 billion over 5 years for 52 weeks of programming. So it actually comes out to some of the lesser stuff on television when you cost out per episode, when you cost out per hour of television. They're not getting it. So it's still relatively cheaper programming for Fox than really anything else that they do, any of their scripted programming, because one, they're not getting it 52 weeks a year, and for what they actually pay for a show like what NBC is actually paying for This Is Us, astronomical. Compared to what NBC Universal is paying for Monday Night Raw. Because Monday Night Raw is 3 hours of television. And when you break it up per hour, 52 weeks a year, it's actually, wrestling is still relatively cheap programming for TV. And so it is in companies' interest, to TV companies' interest, to spend the money. Because, 52 weeks of programming doesn't take a break, so that guarantees us the advertising money every single week.
And they're still doing numbers too. Like it's not a lot. It's not like 1998 numbers, but they're still, when the numbers come out, they're in the top 5. Like they're still up there. They're still putting up numbers.
And so that still attracts advertisers. And it's programming that attracts advertisers 52 weeks a year.
Yep.
Nothing else gives you that. There is literally nothing else producing new content that's ranked in the top 5.
It's insane, honestly.
There's-
Like no other sport is just constant. It's just wrestling.
Nothing else exists. It is attractive to TV networks because of the fact that it's weekly content that never goes away and consistently places top 5. So I
never take a break. That's insane, honestly, to think about. Like they just go like our entire lives. They've been going. There's never been a time where WWE's like, we're gonna shut down for a week. Never. They've just been like, go every single fucking week, dude. Even when the pandemic, they were like, no, we're still gonna do this.
Still gonna produce the show every single week, and you don't get that out of anything else. You don't get that out of sports. You can't get it out of sports, and you don't get that out of scripted dramas. You're not gonna get it. Like it's not gonna happen. But
they're like, here's 10 episodes on this TV show. Have fun.
Yeah, you maybe get your 26, but you're not getting 52 episodes. You're not. No, it's valuable programming. And so continuing on. So talking about people who are gonna get their raises. I'll talk about that in a sec. Daryl B says, happy birthday to Kate and Swerve's dad. Yeah, happy birthday, Uncle Steve.
The big unk.
He says, happy Saturday to the Grapsody gents and fam. Remember that with these things, it's great. We got folks like y'all that we can ask before going half nuts with theories. Thanks for your thoughts and honest opinions.
Will got them scoops. He's got the insights. So.
Let's be for real says, a long time listener, first time humper. What do you guys think is the greatest women's match of all time? Ooh, that's
all time.
Great one. All time.
WWE, mine is easy. Sasha and Bayley, Brooklyn.
Damn,
NXT.
You stole my answer. So I got to come up with
like
something
every.
else. That was like
that's the one. That's like if we're talking about WWE, that's the one for me for sure.
Of all time.
But that's a lot.
That's a lot.
Like I don't even know. Like at this point, I don't even know what my favorite men's match. Like I don't have a favorite wrestling match of all time because they're so. Like I can't just pick one like a damn Pringle or something. You know?
I mean, like I said, my answer was Regis. So I'm trying to come up with something else that I consider like all time great. Because I've got like recent stuff where I'm just like that was so good. Like I could say like Bianca and Sasha and like because that was. But that's, I think, recency bias. But it's the most fun I've had recently.
It's definitely something from like All Japan. Like a match from like 1995 is probably the best one. But like, we're not,
Yeah, man. Ooh, that covers a lot. Because, I mean, there's All Japan stuff. There's Stardom stuff. I mean, there's NXT stuff. That is
got your ass.
Got it.
I feel like Reg took the easy answer. Sure.
Yeah, that was.
But the thing
That's
is,
why I threw it out so fast, so I didn't have to think.
The thing is, literally, the next. I remember the day after I showed a non-wrestling fan that match because I was so happy with it. Like that to me is the mark of my favorite.
On
match
the real,
best.
I can't think of one match before that of WWE women's match that I've wanted to watch multiple times. That's the first time where I was like, I have to watch this match again right now.
If I want to show a non-wrestling fan a match, it's something that really like spoke to me, and that was that was one of those matches where like literally the next day I was like, nah, you got to watch this match.
I guess that's universally our answer then. It's probably Sasha versus Bayley. Before that, WWE, I would always say Trish versus Mickey from WrestleMania. For WWE at least.
And Trish Lita, the Raw main event is also definitely a landmark match. Trish and Victoria also. That was like talk about groundbreaking matches. Like there's stuff out there.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the Medusa Bull Nakano match.
I like the Lucha Underground Thunder Rosa as what's her name against Sexy Star, I think, with the blood and shit. Like, there's a lot of great shit.
Was that the Cobra Moon stuff? Or
yeah, Cobra Moon.
Anwar Starwind says, y'all do great work. Enjoy your weekend. Thomas LaValle says, great point about patience. Part of the problem is Sky and Paige have been around the TNT title since last year, but the face turn is a new twist on it. The Julia Black thing has been dragging on too. feel like that might be over, and if it is, it's a problem. That said, we waited over 2 years.
They did it. They were like, "Yo, we blew that off."
Yeah. That said, we waited over 2 years for Hangman to pay off.
That's true.
So it's just got to keep you interested. Phantom, by the way, says, so did AEW not tell Sheeta they were doing an injury storyline? Because she seemed to be the one most surprised by her own
Sheeta and Scorpio Sky just fucking y'all up these days.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Derek says, Phil is 100% on the money with the Sky
man,
stuff.
It's your boy. It's your boy. I'm out here, bro.
Let's see. I actually just lost one.
Yep, Awesome Kong. Shout out to Awesome Kong. Her and Gail Kim had a bunch of amazing TNA matches.
Yeah, absolutely.
Total nonstop action.
Impact has done so much that it's really hard. Nathan, by the way, says, I think
20
it's
years,
important to
bro.
remember that despite being very good at it, English is still her second language.
Facts.
And one that she's only been speaking for 4 years.
Big facts.
Joel says, if AEW would bring themselves to have more than one match on Dynamite, they wouldn't be in the situation of not having
I'm
enough
just saying, more women's match.
I mean, but she was still gonna be out.
She was going to be
of the
gone
country.
either way.
So,
I think they just something happened. They didn't know this was happening, or I don't know what the fuck.
I mean,
because the men's and women's tournament began at the same time and are ending at the exact same amount. I mean, it will end at the same time.
The Sheeta thing must have just been an oversight on Tony's part at some point.
Or they just, like, I had another theory of that it wasn't an oversight and they just wanted to get Statlander a pop in her hometown.
Gotcha. I kind of for a minute thought she could be the Joker. So
yeah, well, her hometown is so she wouldn't have had it till because she's from Long Island.
Okay,
and they even started billing her from Long Island since she started the new gimmick
being
of
an
not being
alien.
the alien, so they no longer say from the Andromeda Galaxy. They say from Long Island, New York. And so they wanted, I feel like they were even telling people, this is a woman from Long Island. This is somebody you pop for when she comes out in Long Island. On Long Island, sorry.
Yeah, I always felt like Stat was going to be in a tournament regardless. So
Ryan says, no questions, just support for the Super Reg Cup.
Super Reg Cup is going down. Yeah, it's going to be amazing. There's going to be flips. There's going to be blunts. There's going to be tricks. There's going to be all kind of stuff.
Riza Suvi says, Phil, you were funny AF in that space last night.
You were spacing it up, Phil? What was you spacing it up about?
We got Space Phil back?
Wow, Space Phil has been in the building again.
Space God had to retire, man.
And for a while there, you were just
for a minute.
I would wake up at like 2 a.m. and I'd be like, Phil is in a space, bro. It's 2 a.m.
I know this man was the Space God, and so hearing Space Phil back,
I'm like, man, yo.
I saw my man Hollywood out there. In Spaces, so I had to jump in and see what they were talking about, and then he said a joke, so I slid into the conversation and I ended up in there. So Spaces is cool. It's just sometimes gets a little weird in there sometimes, man. It's a little weird, man. But no, Spaces is cool.
Ronan Mike Clip says, I played No Mercy for nearly 20 years now, even with all the new WWE games that have come out. If they can duplicate just 80% of what made that game amazing, then I'm sold. So I know that they're going for kind of a faster No Mercy, because the reason is that if you play No Mercy now, like if you introduce somebody to No Mercy, they'd be like, this isn't like modern wrestling at all, because it's not. And modern wrestling is a lot faster paced. Modern wrestling has a lot more spots, and No Mercy was a grapple game. Yeah. And so you have to find ways to come up with still a smart grapple type system, but also, and I feel like the Jungle Boy clips really do a good job of illustrating what they're going for with showing that, hey, we're still grappling, but also like, nah, he's then going to drag you to the ropes and then do his little Jungle Boy flip. And you're going to get all of that stuff. Like, because as Kenny put it, he's like, Ray Phoenix wouldn't work in a game like No Mercy, because that's not a Ray Phoenix game. But you want to play as Ray Phoenix and you want to play like Ray Phoenix. So they're trying to strike a balance, and I think they're going to. And yeah.
It's gonna be fun.
I will say I got in trouble for buying I got in trouble for buying No Mercy because I traded every Nintendo 64 game I had for No Mercy. And
I'm not mad at it. It was worth it.
And when that came out, I traded every game I had. I had Attitude, WrestleMania 2000, Revenge. I traded all my Mario games.
Damn,
I literally walked.
We're done with Mario Party over here.
I walked into Game Crazy with a backpack. I dumped it all out, and they were like, "You've got $70 worth of games here," and I'm like,
Awful.
"Perfect, no mercy, give it here." And
all of those games were $70, and you
all
brought
the
in
games
10
were
and
$70.
GameStop used to be grifting us, bro.
Yeah.
It's straight up grifting.
Waiting to destroy a kid.
I walked out so happy with No Mercy. I came home, and that was all I played was No Mercy. And I remember one of my siblings wanted to play. My little sister was like, "Where's Mario Party?" And I'm like,
"Nah, man, we're done with Mario Party.
No, it's Mario Kart.
That's over."
Mario Kart.
Yeah, pick up some sticks and get body slammed.
I think it might have even been just like Diddy Kong Racing or something. But she was like, "I want to play," and I'm like, "I traded that." Mom,
I traded that.
Yeah, we're done with Mario Kart over
here.
Yeah, we're done with that.
No Mercy.
Yeah, nope. I traded everything I owned for No Mercy. And,
it's worth it.
Yeah, except I had one of the defective cartridges, one of the ones that resets your game after, like at random times, like middle of your game, it would reset to factory settings. And so I would just be playing with my Creator Wrestler, and I still have it, by the way. I still have that copy, but you'll just be playing, the screen will flicker, and then all of a sudden your Creator Wrestler is just the default white guy. And I'm like, what the hell? And of course you hit reset on the game, and
that's what life is like too.
I had one of them defective cartridges, and that's a lot of them. A lot of people talked about having that issue with No Mercy. Brent,
now you're white now. Get out of here.
Brent says,
you're now a generic white guy. Move on.
Making up for missing a few weekly tides. Thank you. It says Capital Collision tonight. We live in the best wrestling timeline, I swear.
It's too much, honestly. I can't keep up.
Hey, Capital
and I
Collision.
love pro wrestling.
Capital Collision looks dope too.
Yeah, it looks fire. That 4-way.
Says,
and shout out to Trent too. I heard he couldn't make the show because he has COVID. So
got the vid
from COVID.
He says, as we're doing this, it's fascinating on Dad to find out Garrett caused the NXT Full Sail split with one innocent tweet. Power to the wrestling fan. Yeah, shout out Garrett. Honestly, Garrett is my TNA Impact resource.
That brother, I don't know how he I thought you were crazy with the dates and stuff, but this bro will be like, it was TNA 2008 June 5th. It was at 13 seconds into. I'm like, yo, how do you? Well,
the thing was, he was running Impact Social for a long time. He was running the Impact Twitter account. So at that time when Impact had when people would always be shocked that Impact had a clip queued up right when something in WWE or AEW happened, Garrett was running the account at that time.
Hey, shout out to Garrett then.
Garrett was killing it because they were every single time it'd be like, bam, here comes the Impact. So yeah, no, Garrett was killing it back then.
Yeah, no, Garrett was so quick at pulling up Impact clips. And the fact that he told the story on Day After Dynamite that as soon as the steel steps came out, he's like, "Oh, Jeff Hardy's about the swanton on these steps. I'm gonna go pull the clip now, so that way, as soon as it happens, I got it."
It's crazy.
He knew Impact history. The beauty of Impact history too is that every company has somebody from Impact in it right now, to where you can do that kind of stuff.
Maybe on it.
Yeah, I mean, the moment Bobby Lashley was facing off with Drew McIntyre, and here comes Garrett was like, "Hey, y'all remember in 2014 Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre? Because that was happening over in TNA."
Man,
let's see.
Hey, and Darby and Jeff definitely gave it up. I was like, Darby, yo, you
got
relaxed,
father and son. Both of you guys, Jeff Hardy too, man.
Darby got relaxed, man.
Bro, y'all, stop it. Relax. We're fine. We don't have to see you guys die.
Fun match, though.
That was super fun.
So, everybody wants to know about this topic here. So, we're going to talk about it. It's our number 3 topic, and that is MJF.
Maxwell.
MJF headed to WWE. And so, of course, there's a lot of talk over Maxwell's frustrations over his contract situations, and those close to him have heard that he's basically said that he's leaving AEW after he's done. Maxwell had, of course, signed a contract with AEW very early on, and so, of course, he had a fast rise in that time. Within months of him signing his contract, he's feuding with Cody, and had one of the biggest programs in AEW, and he's been one of the top heels since, but he's still in his original contract. And MJF came into AEW not really worth as much as certain guys, so of course he's worth a lot more now, but he's still in his original contract. And so there's a lot of stuff happening there. When I said Sean was working on a story, he's, of course, I'm alluding to the fact that he's got a story brewing as far as what does everybody else think of this. And I did some digging around as well. I asked multiple people in AEW, and I did get one person who gave me a quote that they said, "I am free to use." And what they had said was... so basically, there's not a whole lot of people on MJF's side of this, I am gathering. That the one thing I heard from somebody who said, look, his deal is his deal. It said changing the terms of an existing deal while in the middle of it would set a horrible precedent. And if he wants new money, sign a new deal. And the idea, I get what they're saying there is that, yeah, if MJF in the middle of his deal can simply say, actually, I believe I'm worth this now. And granted, I think he is. I think he's worth way more than he ever was. Yeah. But they're like, what would stop anybody else from wanting to change the terms? Anybody from wanting to change the terms of their deal in the middle of it, and not sign a new deal. So then, of course, a lot of people are saying that. But also said Tony would be a fool to give him any more money without the guarantee of more years. Because, of course, if Tony's got to give something up on this new deal, he's got to get something. And so, yeah, you sign a new deal, he's got to tack on a couple of years or a year or whatever in order to make that happen. But it sounds like he still wants his free agency in 2024.
I didn't know that part. How does that work?
I don't know that for sure. But I like, that's the thing. There's a lot here, but I know that as far as the talent in the locker room is concerned, a lot of people are feeling like there's been an understanding in pro wrestling for a really long time that
it's just not how these things work. You can't just say like, I want a bigger contract and get one. Like it's just not how it works.
Yeah. And look, and I understand his frustration, because I mean, if you're looking around and everybody's like, all right, well, you're not Punk, so you don't deserve Punk money, or you're not Moxley, or you're not Jericho, he can turn around and go, yeah, but I did work all three of those guys and arguably give all three of them their best feuds.
When he signed, that was the case. Today, he can say, I may not be those guys in terms of legacy, but in terms of value on your show, sure I am. In terms of what you use on your programming, MJF is one of the biggest parts of your show.
Exactly. I mean, look, I don't think there's any debating that he's given Punk his best feud since he's been back. The stuff he's doing with Wardlow right now is incredible. I felt like the stuff he did this week, if this news came out this week and you're looking at what he did on Dynamite, like, he's looking at like, yeah, that's me. I'm killing it right now.
I did that.
And I still do believe that he will be champion by the end of the year. I've been saying that for a while, but I still do believe that.
But the hard thing is, how crazy is it to be a champion in a company where you're still paid like you're in your rookie, like you're a rookie, right? Like that, I could absolutely see where, hey, I'm the champion, I'm going to be on the front of the posters, I'm going to be the marquee guy, but I'm also still on my original contract that I signed when I was
that's what I was getting at. It's so much stuff that he has done since the inception of AEW that he can look around and go, look, like, I'm the guy here. Like, and if I'm the guy and that guy's getting paid that, I should be getting paid this too. And so I understand his frustration, but at the same time, your deal is your deal. Like, it's like, that is all stuff that you can bargain later. And maybe this is just him trying to put a fire under TK for 2 years from now, where he can negotiate and go, hey, this is what I'm worth. But I don't know. I don't know how well this is going to work out for him by doing it this way.
Right. I think this is all just like the problem is like he came in on that contract, but like, yo, you built your stuff. This is what you're supposed to do. You come in on a lesser deal, you build your name up. Then when it's time to get a new deal, you get the big new deal because you built it. But you can't just because like everyone says you should have a new deal, get a new deal with like you can't just be like, give me more money, Tony Khan, and he gives you more money with nothing. That's just like not how this shit works.
Yeah.
Man. You gotta like give it. If you're gonna get money, you gotta give up more years. It's a vice versa. It's a business. It's deals. It's all these things, man. So, but I get it. You know, like he's cooking out there. He deserves money, but you just have to wait. That's just kind of how it works.
Yeah, I mean, or like I said, or I think there's obviously all deals signed in any business there's concessions, unless you've got nothing to offer.
Right.
But in this case, obviously AEW has money and TV time to offer, and MJF is a talent that is over, and he has a lot to offer. But yeah, it is a case looking out right now of how do you reconcile both of those things when, yeah, MJF was nobody when he signed that contract, and he grew to be somebody very, very, very quickly.
Him. Yeah.
And I don't think anybody knew that was going to be the case with him, but like now, that he's a valuable hot commodity.
Yeah, and look, it's the other part about this that makes it interesting, of course, is that MJF is a Cody guy. And so there are people that are looking at this like, this is the first signs that he might leave and join Cody in WWE. And I know that there are WWE fans that hated him before that are now salivating like, we might get MJF. I think people need to pump their brakes.
Being put right on his head as soon as he signs.
If we get a Kofi on MJF, man, look. Look, and I know he did that panel. Shout out to Cam. I know he did the panel with Cam and those guys, but let's all calm down.
I like Max. I like Max a lot.
He's great. He's great.
I think that there is a middle ground here. But like I said, just talking to the wrestlers, they all kind of feel that same way of
the wrestlers are pretty much saying, if he can do that, I'm going to try to do that too. And that's just like, you can't.
Yeah, of course. And I think from Tony's point of view, he's definitely going to be looking at it like, nah, if I open the door for that, then, what else am I opening the door for from somebody else that doesn't like their deal?
Yeesh, yeah, exactly.
That's the forbidden door.
That's the real forbidden door.
What am I giving up here? Like I absolutely get that. Joel says, Will, do you see a chance MJF could join WWE in 2024? Absolutely.
Yes.
I think there's a chance anybody can join anywhere. Like I said, the best place you can be right now if you want success in either company is in the other one. Because like the worst place you can be right now is NXT. But like as far as, because you're going to get everything you want. If MJF says, I want my music, because that music is music that AEW doesn't own.
Cut my music.
He says,
I heard that he's not.
What now?
Like that music isn't. That music is. I've heard about that music and that. No, he's not. I've heard the full story on that music, and essentially, no one is supposed to be using. It's like fair game. It's fair game music, but no one can get to the owner of the music. So if the owner comes at you and is like, just kidding, like it's lit, but no one could be like, hey, we're using this on pay-per-view. No one has talked to the owner of this music. So,
but it's funny too.
And WWE don't play that. They don't play secrets. They're like,
but here's the thing. If MJF said that's a condition of me coming to the company, WWE would figure it out.
They'll find it. Yeah,
they'll figure it out. Yeah, are you kidding me?
They are a different fucking monster.
It's a monster.
I still think it's crazy. Looking at the Hell in a Cell poster and Cody being front and center, and not just that, having his logo on the side and like the little watermark. I was like, yo,
and he's wearing the gear. He wearing the gear that he debuted at Double or Nothing last year. Like what?
Yo, Cody really finessed this, man.
And that's what I'm saying. Everybody's got the ability to do that. MJF is like, look, I want to write my own promos. I want all of this shit, or I'm staying. And WWE
would
be
like, 2 years, it's going to be even bigger. Like he's going to have an even more leverage in 2 years. So
yeah, of course.
And WWE would be like, okay, please take all of this. And then if an NXT guy went, I want to keep my name, and they'd be like, "Who are you again?"
Yeah, what?
But
yeah,
what football team did you play for?
Yeah, like,
yeah.
There's so much leverage right now in being in the other company. For anybody in WWE right now who's kind of eyeing AEW, and they have been, you're gonna get what you ask for.
Oh yeah, because I just last night heard a story about a wrestler that came over from WWE to AEW and got the exact same deal, and the deal was wild. And like WWE maybe shouldn't have been paying him it, but they matched it over at AEW. So like, the grass is greener on the other side.
Right now, there is zero chance that I would ever accept anybody saying that the industry isn't better right now than it was in 2018. Like, there's
billion-dollar deals, dude. There's money,
and people they've got leverage. Like, it's a great time to be a professional wrestler on any side of the coin. Because
see what Roman's doing. We're about to talk about Roman. Roman's
the next story.
I mean, this is what you would see in any other sport, though, of people using leverage and negotiating contracts. Like, that wasn't a thing 3 years ago because there was nowhere else to go.
Exactly. You can't. What you gonna negotiate? Hey, Impact wants me. Okay, have fun over there, bro. I'm sorry, Impact. You know I'm Impact number one. I've said
all the
awful thing about you guys
Impact
today.
catching all them strays.
Watch Impact Wrestling, dude. They're the best. The show on Thursday was actually fun. They did the Gauntlet for the Gold. They had a bunch of people. Impact's doing a lot of fun stuff.
Queen of the Mountain is coming. Come on,
man. Bro. Come on. They got a bunch of
first ever Queen of the Mountain. Impact's smoking right now, man.
Yeah,
I feel like Slammiversary can be good. I don't know how I feel about that main event they announced, but hey,
it's like
you gotta take the good with the bad, bro.
So Perry says Jade and the Baddies biggest thing in wrestling.
Best thing. I don't
know if I would say biggest, but I appreciate the work.
I am such a fan of the Baddies right now.
It's just
Lord's work they're doing over there, man.
Thank you.
Come on, man.
Thank you.
Nah, I am a big fan of the Baddies.
I mean, look, the facts are the facts.
Listen, man, Jade's getting that done.
Jade is looking. How do you look better every week? I don't get
It's not even just that. It's just her coming and going, man. Cameraman, you know what to do, man. Over there to my baddies, I'm like, yo,
you know what time it is. She's people.
And honestly, look, I know people want to see them break away from Mark Sterling. I disagree. I think that, especially Mark Sterling being in the neck brace this week, and they're like,
they've been like, yo, what happened to you, bro?
Oh my God, man. By the way, that Tony Nese thing they did this week was one of the best things AEW.
Oh, I love that Tony Nese shit.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
I was completely surprised by it.
I loved it.
Man, we are rarely surprised as wrestling fans, and I thought this was a great surprise in a good way because I was like, wait, they squashed Danhausen?
Right.
And Danhausen is Teflon right now.
But Will talked about it on Day After Dynamite. Danhausen got the I'm about to squash this guy entrance. Tony Nese is in the ring waiting. You're like, damn, how are they going to do Tony Nese like that? And they just
completely subverted it.
And I think they did more for Tony Nese than anything. I think that now Tony Nese suddenly looked like because you're paying more attention now to the idea that wait, the guy who was already in the ring won.
Mm-hmm.
What? And so,
I thought it was great.
And then for Danhausen's character, that was great. A great idea.
Come on, man, stop sleeping on Tony Nese, really man. Get in this ring and get these Tony Nese, bro, all in your face.
Tony Nese to your brain.
Ronan Mike Clips says the MJF situation kind of reminds me of Sean O'Malley and Paddy Pimblett in the UFC.
Those are some names.
Both guys are young, already signed, but are looking for a larger contract because they think they're worth more.
Yeah, and when the internet is telling you, if everybody on social media is saying you are worth more than this, of course you're gonna be like, yeah, I am. Yeah, look at everybody saying it.
Everybody believes they're on hype at some point.
Yeah.
Dream Ninja 77 says late to the show, but can we get white pantsuit Yakuza boss murder Sheeta from this?
I would love it.
And somebody or someday my fave Sasha versus Sheeta. Please.
I'm still trying to see Sasha and Miko over there. Y'all need to book that before something happens.
Man,
I don't know.
The best thing that I thought could have come out of this is if Sheeta went radio silent after this, and we didn't hear from her again until June, and then she just showed up, white suited up, with 2 more Japanese wrestlers and challenge the baddies at Forbidden Door. That would have been awesome. Still couldn't do that, by the way. Feel free to steal my
Phil's
idea.
booking over here. That sounds great. Yeah, somebody write that down.
Derek Gordon says Britt was in the same situation. She came in likely on a smaller deal, and when she got bigger, she signed a new deal, Scorpio Sky as well. Britt came in on a shorter deal, so her option year was last year, and so she signed a bigger deal last year and signed for longer and bigger money.
Yep.
So that's where we are with her. Monique says, do you think this affects his booking in the future, like a title run? I think he's being a brat about it by making his deal that he has 2 years left so public.
I want to say I don't think so, but I mean,
he's a student of the game, and he's really smart about that kind of stuff. Like he also knows that it gets heat. So it's like I know people are like, is this a work? Because MJF, and it's like it's not a work that he feels this way. Because
he's putting some extra on.
We have very much heard from like people very close to him that this is this is what's going on with him. I don't think any of that's a work, but is he gonna work people with it? Absolutely. Right. Does he know that saying I want to go to WWE is a good way to get people to boo? Yes. So he is. It works 2 ways.
Like he's been on the 2024 shit. Like that's a part of his little thing now, is saying like in 2024 it's going to be lit. So,
right. Yeah, and I mean this is if he is a student of Punk, it's a smart way to do it.
Boom.
And Jobber Mania says, thought about this when they announced next week's Dynamite lineup. If Cesaro is the Joker, him versus Phoenix is a match that can act.
Boy, don't be saying these matches out loud. I'm gonna cry. That sounds crazy.
Ooh. Oh my god.
That would be, yeah. Yes, I like it.
Yeah, I mean, are you kidding me? That is the Claudio specialty. Is
that?
That's why him and Chikara was such a.
Oh my god! I want to see what he could do with the damn handcuffs off. The handcuffs have been on for so long, man.
And Van Twinblade says the work is that it's a 6 out of 10 instead of an 11 out of 10. And we got Humper Chats. Let's see, got a couple. This one from Joseph Snurk says, Reg, I think Sonata would disagree with Ospreay being a perfect wrestler.
I will fight you saying Sonata is a perfect wrestler. Get out of here.
I mean, Sonata's dope. I mean, but come on.
Come on.
Relax.
Sonata.
Come on, man.
Why?
Come on, man. Sonata's not better than Okada, bro.
Come on, man. He's not. No way. Shout out to this Best of the Super Juniors. That's about to start too, and that's going to be super fire. About to watch that.
So, we also got questions about Roman's schedule.
We still got a whole bunch of questions.
Got a whole bunch of questions. So Roman. So as far as what's being advertised, there's a lack of Roman on a lot of upcoming events that he's not advertised for Hell in a Cell. He's not being advertised for a whole lot of Raw or SmackDown events, and house shows, TV, not being advertised. Word going around right now is that he's not going to be defending the WWE Championship until Money in the Bank, which is a stadium show. In July.
What, man?
So, of course, I think this is hilarious. If I can go back into my Rollins agenda, Rollins' complaint with Brock was that he's never there, and he's better than Brock because he's here and he's doing all of the matches that people want to see. Mm-hmm. And you can go back to that same argument right now that Rollins is doing all of the stuff that is the marquee stuff. He's doing all the stuff with Cody. If I had to guess, they're going to have a big match at Hell in a Cell. It's not going to be Roman, so what are we doing? You put both titles on this guy.
Bro,
what are we doing? What was the point of putting both titles on him if he's not going to work and add prestige to both of those titles? He's just kind of handcuffed them.
They booked themselves into a stupid corner. You didn't have to do this. I don't understand why you put the belts on Roman when you had zero idea what you were going to do on the other side. And when you're going to let Roman have a relaxed schedule like this.
And look, hey, if he just wants a relaxed schedule, hey,
That's more power
I'm
to
not
him. Yeah,
sweating.
he earned it.
I'm not sweating that. Like he's earned that at that point. And more wrestlers should be able to take time off when they're ready.
Facts.
But this is why you should have never put both titles on him, because at least when Brock was gone, you had another title on TV. I feel like this is worse than the Brock stuff, because now you could potentially have both of your titles off TV, and your mid card titles mean nothing at the moment.
The prestige on Raw with no championship since WrestleMania.
It just feels like I mean, and really, it's been since like January.
Since January, mostly.
Pretty much since they took the belt off of Big E, it's felt like Brock was more involved with SmackDown than with Raw as WWE champion. Like they did a little bit with Bobby, but then after that, it was like, nah, Brock's a SmackDown guy. In the brand split, like, just do it. You know what though? I was thinking about it and why some of the benefits of not having the brand split. I thought about this the other day. Think about The Rock. My friend Colin Harris, he mentioned an amazing point to me that was just mind-blowing. He said AJ Styles has been in WWE longer than Rock's entire full-time wrestling career.
Which is an insane stat to think about. That sounds crazy.
Rock's full-time wrestling career was 96 to 02, 6 years.
Crazy.
AJ debuted 2016. It's 2022. He's been around longer. It doesn't feel like it, though, right? It doesn't feel like that at all. But a big reason why Rock's WWE career felt as long as it did was because he was working TV twice a week. And so that's why a lot of those guys, Kurt Angle's initial run was only 99 till 06. We're talking 7 years, right? But for 3 of those years that Kurt was around, we saw Kurt twice a week. So we got the equivalent at that time of what a modern day 6 years is in 3 years.
Yep.
Rock's, because it wasn't like they were running the same stuff on Raw and SmackDown. It was like, no, it was just continuous programming each week. And so with The Rock, for example, Rock from 99 till 2002 was somebody we saw 2 times a week. In 3 years, we got 6 years worth of programming.
Right.
And the thing about what I liked about that time period, especially from 99 till 02, was that feuds moved faster because a 4-week build back then was the equivalent of a modern day 8-week build. So it was like, okay, we got it.
You're doing 2 angles a week instead of 1.
Yeah, exactly. And so we got in and out, right? It was like I remember Hunter and Benoit, right? They feuded for going into No Mercy 2000, and it was like they feuded and it was done after No Mercy 2000. They had maybe like 2 weeks afterward, but 6 weeks we got 12 shows out of that, 13 counting the pay-per-view. Like, we're done. This is it. There's nothing else to do here. And so I just recognize, one, how much slower programming moves right now. Now, I get it. It requires creative to be faster with stuff like that. But also, you didn't have to, when you have that big of a roster and you didn't have to worry about, I don't know. I think about SmackDown came along in 99, and right at the end of 99, Austin got hurt. And I think if they had been a one-program show, they would have been screwed, right? Because it's like, oh my God, we don't have Austin anymore. But it's like, nah, we actually have this big roster across 2 shows, and we can just continually showcase these guys. We can move. And by the time Austin came back, it was a completely different program because they had moved on so much.
I wasn't even mad about it. Like, they had enough to replace that one guy. Like, they used 10 guys to replace the one guy.
And they cycled through it, though, so fast, right? That, like, at the beginning of the year, it was Hunter and Foley feuding over the title. But then it was Hunter and Rock. But then it was Rock and Benoit. And then it was Angle and Rock. And then it was Angle and this person. And it was like, you could just move through the show consistently and move guys out.
RVD and I say was out there.
I say all this to say that Roman right now is SmackDown. And you take away Roman from SmackDown, what do you have? Like, nothing.
You've got whatever Ronda's doing.
Right. And I just feel like they wouldn't necessarily be in this predicament with titles, with anything, if it were just a show that could consistently just move somebody else into the spot. Where it's like, okay, Roman's not here. Cool. Rollins is. Rollins isn't here. Cool. AJ is. and you don't have that right now, and I don't really feel like there's a need for the brand split anymore. The programs aren't distinct enough anyway.
So my question to you though,
it's the same set, it's the same style of writing, it's the same style of wrestling. Like, you're not getting anything unique by having Raw separate from SmackDown.
Right.
So my question though, why wouldn't it be the same? Because he's got both titles. Even if there was no brand split and he had the title and he's not on TV, you could slot somebody else in, but he's still the champion. You can't just slot anybody else in if you don't have a championship to give them.
Right. Like, the other issue is that Roman's the champion.
Roman's the champ. That's the biggest thing. It's like, he's down. Like, what are the stakes if there's no champion?
Like, I agree with time off.
What are we fighting for?
I want to see more top guys just disappear for a little while, because that does give guys a chance to come in. I think, Austin being injured in 2000 was obviously unfortunate, and like, you don't want to see anybody go out with a neck injury. But one of the benefits to that was that when Austin came back, the amount of new talent he had to face was so great that it was like Kurt Angle emerged in the time Austin was gone, right? Because Austin went out Survivor Series, Angle debuted that same Survivor Series. When Austin returned, here's a brand new main event guy that you've never seen him interact with. This is great. And it's like, I actually want to see that for guys. I wanted to see that for Brock. When Brock was gone, I would have loved to have seen, look who emerged in the time Brock was gone, and now we're going to see Brock versus this person. And instead, they were just like, actually, he's going to face the same guy he's faced.
So it's going to be Roman again.
He's going to face the same guy he's faced for the last 6 years. But I want to say that, because I think that should and could be a great thing. I want to see top guys take some time, disappear.
Agreed.
For new top guys to emerge, and then bring top guys back, so that all of a sudden you have a new top guy for the old top guy. That's a great thing in pro wrestling. Yeah, I just feel like they're not positioned to do it, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah. That's the thing I enjoy about AEW at the moment, is that they cycle people out, and everybody is not on TV every week. And so it gives you time to miss them. It gives people time to slide into that void and, get some heat on themselves or become more popular. And I feel like there's no real room to do that with WWE's programming, because they keep the same people on TV every week.
I want to see a little more consistency out of what AEW does from week to week. Because I do think that their best run did have a lot of those guys just kind of go straight week to week to week. And that some of their best stuff today is guys who are there week to week. Like, Wardlow wouldn't necessarily be able to get over the way he is if there had to be pauses in what he's doing.
Right.
And so I do think that there should be more consistency, because I know where that came from. It was a booking change, right? Because in the pandemic era stuff, they reached the point where they had to do that, where they had to cycle guys week to week, because you couldn't use the same guys because they were doing those dual tapings. And so you couldn't necessarily use the guys you used last week, because we literally just used them yesterday because they were taping on Thursdays. They were doing the Wednesday, Thursday tapings. And so that's just how the booking philosophy kind of became during the pandemic. But I honestly, out of AEW, I do want to see more week-to-week television. And that if you're going to cycle people out, do it for a longer period of time, not just like every other week. And so that's something I want to see them go back to. I don't know. That's me personally.
Yeah, I feel like the larger problem, other than the brand split thing, which I don't think the brand split is going anywhere, because we keep hearing that Fox and USA want exclusivity to certain wrestlers. And so because of that, it's going to be hard to end the brand split. Right. But I think the bigger problem than the brand split is the fact that Roman as a heel has not benefited anyone. And I feel like nobody wants to say that, but it's the truth. Who was the last person that came out the other side of a Roman feud and looked better? The Usos? Everybody else he's worked is already established.
Better.
John Cena, Bryan, all of these other guys were built up, and they were already established guys. They're all already WWE legends in some ways. Anybody else that he's worked, like Cesaro, which Rollins built him up, and then he came out the other side of that feud, and he looked worse. Everybody else he's worked came out the other side of that feud looking worse. Kevin Owens.
Oh, way worse.
Yeah, so no, he has not benefited anybody as a heel champion because he just beats them and then they just kind of disappear in obscurity. And I feel like that's the biggest problem with his run is that it doesn't feel like anybody gets built back up. It doesn't feel like anybody is moving forward, and that's also because there are no real importance on mid card titles. So nobody feels like they're being fast tracked. There's no way in the world, I believe, right now that Ricochet is next in line.
Ricochet's still the Intercontinental Champ?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so there's no way in the world I believe that right now. And like a few years ago, you could see it when Rollins was Intercontinental Champion. You could see he was the next guy up. Yep. And there's nobody that's up there like that. Like I feel like you can position somebody. You could easily, heat up somebody like Rollins or heat up somebody that fans already like. But I'm telling you, the biggest issue here is that Roman just beats everybody, and it doesn't matter after that. It just feels predictable. You know he's going to win. And then after that, the person he beats is just going to go away. So it just feels like none of it matters. And I've been saying that for a while. But now we get to a point where he's going to go away. And now what? Now you have nobody to fill in his void because he's just beating everybody.
Because who's on the level of Roman who we didn't put up to his level? This.
This was the problem with having him beat Big E the way he did at Survivor Series as well. And it just so happens that, E is injured and he's away. But still, that was a problem with you putting him over E. He was your champion. He was another guy that you could have kept pushing forward. And I'm telling you, that is the biggest issue with this Roman stuff.
Mm-hmm. And I think they just wanted to, at WrestleMania, they just wanted to have the fucking marquee, the greatest match of all time for both titles. But they didn't really... everything that they've done this year was to get to that, and it just didn't hit.
We don't believe you. You need more people, fam.
Straight up.
You started that whole, this is the biggest match. Everybody knew Roman was winning that match. Right. Like, I just never bought for a second that Brock was going to win that match.
That Brock was winning.
I said a while ago in a space that, and I know people take the Rollins stuff away, but I said a while that Rollins is the best heel in the company because Rollins actually builds guys up, and he actually is a focused heel. Anybody else that comes out of the programs with him, they have a clear position in the company of where they're going. And I mean, you could say that with Cesaro, and you can say it currently with Cody. You don't get that with Roman at all.
I was thinking about Hell in a Cell, by the way, and how bleak SmackDown feels. Are there any SmackDown matches that could be built for Hell in a Cell right now?
Butch.
Because on Raw, Cody versus Rollins is headed for Hell in a Cell. I think you could even do Edge and AJ Styles inside Hell in a Cell.
Ronda just got hurt. Charlotte just got hurt. She can't be in there with Ronda. That's out.
Yeah, she's out for her wedding, but which is also the reason that Andrade's out. Hey,
wait, they're getting married?
Uh-huh.
Good for them.
And that was them. So the coffin match was writing out Andrade. And so
I see.
Both of them are. She's not actually hurt, but it's a.
You mean wrestling companies lie to us about people being injured?
What?
What are you telling me right now?
I think Washington tweet and say, "Yo, I'm really out here. I'm just gonna be at this wedding tomorrow, bro. I'm not gonna."
Why would they lie to us?
but yeah, I think that. It helps that she was very much in on it. But yeah, they. But yeah, thinking about Raw, you can even in the women's title division, you can do Becky, Bianca, and Asuka triple threat Hell in a Cell. You can do that. There's a lot you can do on the Raw side, but SmackDown has nothing heated up enough to feel like it's Hell in a Cell worthy.
Because everything in that show is about Roman. Mm-hmm. Everything.
I know people are saying, well, you could do Usos versus RK Bro.
RK Bro is not even a SmackDown tag team.
That's still a half SmackDown match. SmackDown really doesn't have a lot that could fill a Hell in a Cell. That's crazy to think about the fact that there's 4 possibilities for matches, but all of them involve people from Raw. Raw has been heated up this pretty much since WrestleMania. I think Cody really infused something into Raw that Raw didn't have before. And
except for they need to stop doing Street Profits and RK Bro matches. I'm like, every time I turn this show on after having seen it, I see the same match that I seen the last time.
That's the problem.
I feel really bad for though. Man, I really feel bad for Angelo Dawkins. I get it. I think that I think Montez Ford is a world-class talent. And every single time the Street Profits have a great performance, people are like, man, Montez Ford, future WWE champion. And I feel like Angelo Dawkins over here like, man, I was in that match too.
Right. I was out here. Y'all see me? No, they don't ever
No, but I
see
get
me.
it. He's a once-in-a-lifetime talent. Chris Rain says, the mention of Claudio without handcuffs just got me so excited. I might want to clean that up. Orion Ben 666 says WWE did this to themselves.
Yep.
They've devalued all the secondary belts to the point where fans are disinterested.
They've kind of devalued the WWE Championship as
Now
well.
they need those belts to be important.
Who's the United States champion?
Your boy Austin Theory.
Theory. That's
A-Town
right.
down.
Oh God.
Yes. We got Joseph Snurk said, you guys are misunderstanding me. Sonata would disagree with Ospreay being perfect because Ospreay injured him.
You acting like Bret Hart. This is a Bret Hart critique.
Yes. I mean, hey, Bret Hart's biggest claim to fame was that he never injured anybody in a ring.
Yeah. Wrestling has changed though. They be beating each other's ass now. So.
But don't mention that Goldberg guy in front of him.
Ooh, not to let Billy G.
I mean, that's his whole point, is that he says what makes me the best is that I took care of my opponents, and so Goldberg's the worst because he didn't take care of me. Like, that is ultimate. And
okay,
all right,
Bill Goldberg, as he would always say.
Bill Goldberg.
Bill Goldberg.
Yeah.
SmackDown Championship title. Rousey kept killing me doing that last night. SmackDown Championship title. She just kept saying it all in
Why do
like
they
in
keep
one word. Why does she keep saying it?
Talk, dude. Like she doesn't. We don't want to hear her talk. We never. When she
was
the dominant MMA person, no, she didn't talk. She said like 3 words. That wasn't.
Well, and the other thing too is that remember when the fans started to turn on her in 2018, 2019, and they were like, okay, let's just make her a heel, and it started to work for her.
Mm-hmm.
How are they missing that today? That like she is not the smiling type.
She's not likable.
No.
Yeah.
She's just not likable.
She's not likable. That's it. That's fine.
And that's
okay. People that win a lot because she wins a lot, they're usually not. You're cocky. You're one of the best at your sport. Of course, you're not going to be likable.
Yeah,
embrace it.
Yeah, I think they've got to embrace it. But hey, that match last night was pretty good.
Oh, I was about to bring up the final topic.
Go ahead.
Yeah, now we moving.
Kota Ibushi.
Things have taken a turn, I tell you.
This went crazy.
Kota brewed a lot of tea this week. He was putting a lot of.
He was in the kitchen, wrist whipping with the stir fry, bro. I'm telling you.
He he was putting a lot of information out there at once. It was hard to follow it at one point because it felt like he was tweeting a lot. And just off top, I kind of feel bad for him because it feels like he is clearly depressed, if I had to guess.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, it's hard. And, I mean, he talked about this when he was injured at one point. It's hard to not be able to wrestle. And it's hard to, go through rehab and not be able to work out and do other things as well. He's still dealing with the shoulder thing.
Right.
And so I think that's part of it.
Working out is therapy for these people. And when you can't do that, like that takes, it's a lot.
I feel like that's part of it because he tweeted this morning. He was like, the one thing I wish is that my mother was still here, and I was just like, he's just going through some stuff, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think it kind of felt like I think New Japan's end is they hear the stories, they hear how he talks, and they're just like, yo, you're a superhuman, you're a god, like you can do whatever, like just do it. And he's like, yo, like, I'm hurt. I can't move. I'm depressed. I'm trying to do this. I see you guys are doing shows with AEW. That seems appealing. All these things seem appealing, and I can't be a part of it. And then you're telling me to fucking forget my injury or forget whatever problems I'm having and just go back out there. Like, it's a lot, man. It's a lot. Especially for somebody like him who's so, like, he's pro wrestling like a motherfucker. And, like, if you're not feeding that itch, it's going to...
And the stuff he tweeted, of course, what sparked all of this week, because he had tweeted, "I'll expose all the former cheaters, goon, and the sexually harassing bosses, from the company's president's lies to his unreasonable power harassment this time, and get prepared for this. That Tokyo Sports and TV
Kota said, "Get your pens and pencils ready."
So
if
you guys don't know what he means by cheaters goon, there are apparently like 3 wrestlers in particular that he's saying not only will cheat you out of money, but they also cheat on their wives. He's ready to put them on blast. And I think I can't remember all 3, but I know it was Taguchi, Taichi, and
cheater goon.
It was 3 of them, but no, he definitely put. And so he's getting a ton of. Man, you talk about burning bridges, bro.
Kota said, "I don't give a fuck about y'all niggas."
And so
it's Kota.
And so what actually started this? Wasn't it that he was frustrated that they were trying to get him to come back too early from an injury?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. New Japan was trying to say like, "You're superhuman, dude. Come back. We need you."
And right, because he was supposed to come back for the New Japan Cup, and he wasn't ready to come back. And then, it just seems like all of this is frustration. And then he shared those Taka. That's who the other one was. Taka Michinoku. But then he shared all of those text messages with their talent relation guy, and that was bizarre as well, where the guy was basically like, "You can just quit," and it's like, "What? Wait a minute."
This sounds like that Ring of Honor situation.
And then all of this is also weird because didn't they announce at one point that he had a lifetime contract when he signed?
I don't remember.
I thought for sure they said a lifetime contract, which didn't sound right at the time because there is no such thing as lifetime contracts in wrestling.
Never.
It's wrestling.
No way.
But yeah, this whole thing is just really bizarre. It sounds like, and I've been trying to get clarification on when his contract is actually up. I've heard some people say next year, but I haven't gotten confirmation on that. Yeah, this is all bizarre. If it's just him trying to get out of his contract and burn bridges, boy, this is a very messy way of going about it.
And I've seen a lot of people saying, well, he could just sign with AEW, he could sign with WWE. Like, my understanding is that he has no desire to, like, live in the States.
Yeah.
We're going to, I feel like I need a whole topic to dedicate to WWE Japanese wrestlers. And one day, maybe next week, we'll do so. But
yeah,
it's going to be interesting as far as what the future holds for Kota Ibushi, especially in one of the most interesting times that NJPW has had in years.
Yeah, it's man, and it just keeps escalating as well because then he tweeted that Yakuza tweet, and then Kenny got involved because Kenny tweeted, you know, Phoenix Flame will rise again, and I was like, I mean, he's clearly talked about Kota. It's a big mess, man.
Yeah,
Kota made the block hot, but I mean,
he definitely made the block.
This
hot.
is a lot of years of frustration. I'm sure this isn't brand new. This isn't one thing that set him off. You know,
if you guys don't know his history in Japan, he stayed a freelancer for a long time, and there was a reason why he didn't sign. But yeah,
yeesh. I hope I hope he gets better. I hope his mentals are good. I hope, he gets some satisfaction out of everything he's done. He's an incredible talent. When I talked about Ospreay, this guy's exactly the same. This guy's a perfect wrestler when the fucking bell rings. He does disgusting things sometimes. Sometimes it's too far. But he's an amazing wrestler, and I hope, all this is resolved. I hope there isn't a bunch of wild shit still going on in New Japan. This is just kind of an unfortunate situation.
Yeah, and I mean, it should be said before we wrap this up that he does have valid points about New Japan's treatment of him. It's just getting lost in all of the other stuff that he's put out there to burn the bridge.
Yeah. But hey, folks, this has been Grapsody for Saturday, May 14th, 2022. Thanks for being with us. This was a great episode. Thank you to everybody who was a super chatter. Thank you to everybody who gave us the Humper Chats. This was, I think, one of our best Humper Chat days.
Oh, sweet.
And thank you for just being with us again on a Saturday. I love talking with Reg and Phil, and this is the best part of my weekend. So thank you for being here again. For Philip Lindsey, for Righteous Reg, I'm Will Washington. We will see you next time. Have a great day.